Cobra Kai never dies. What's up, everybody? This is Justin Proper here. We are talking about Cobra Kai Season 3, one of the best shows that you could possibly watch on Netflix or anywhere. It used to be on YouTube, but Netflix acquired it. And honestly, there's a lot to say about it. There's things I liked, things I didn't like. We're going to discuss it all here today. And with me today, we have Fat Steven Seagal. What is up, man?
Nothing much. Feeling kind of good. But a nice start to the new year. Good season of the show, and glad to be here.
Absolutely. And we also have a newcomer to the channel. Ladies and gentlemen, YetiCast. It's very nice to meet you, man.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
Absolutely. We're talking about a lot of exciting things. And we also have the lovely Lorena Creole is here. What is up?
Hey, Justin. Hey, Steven. Hey, Yeti. How you guys doing out there in the chat?
Hi, boss.
How are you? I'm so excited to freaking be here and talk about Season 3 of Cobra Kai.
It's nice to be able to talk about something that you like for a change.
Oh, yeah.
Things that you hate.
I've been dying to talk about this.
Oh, yeah. Seriously. I binge watching the first couple of days, and I even watched the first 2 seasons before that. So I got everything. I just took in all of it, and it was wow. But we actually did have one of these streams last year, or I would say a year and a half ago. And joining me, who was there for Season 2, Mary Mayhem, my YouTube bestie. Very nice to have you back and talking about Cobra Kai again.
Oh man, I'm glad to be here. That was amazing. That was a great season.
It feels like forever ago, though.
Yes, it does. That's the big I know that they've already announced Season 4 or whatever. So hopefully we won't have to wait quite so long this time. But yeah, that was a pain in the ass.
It really was. We should be getting Season 4 in May, but no, no, we're not. But hey, you know what? I would rather they take a little bit longer to give us a better season than to kind of rush something out and make it lackluster. You know?
I mean, they keep knocking it out of the park with this. I can't imagine. I don't know, man. I feel like they got this on lock.
Perhaps, yeah. I mean, it is really good. And last but certainly not least, Runner Studios. Runner, how are you doing?
Hey, what's going on, guys? This is the second Cobra Kai stream I've been on. So yeah, I'm excited. It's gonna be a lot.
Absolutely. And let's go on over here to the chat.
And I recently binge watched all 3 seasons not too long ago.
Oh, so did I. And it's.
No, but like for the
I have
first
more
time.
things to say about it now with all 3 seasons in context, for sure. Saggy Melons is here. What is up, man? Nice to see you. I'm not sure if we've seen you around before, but welcome to the channel. No mercy. No mercy. I agree. No mercy. What's up, Runner? Chief Nation, very nice to see you. No mercy. Everybody just type in no mercy in the chat. John Matrix, hey, what is up, man? It's good to see you. Sweep the like button. Do you have a problem with that? Not at all. Definitely sweep that like button for sure. John Matrix, very good to see you, man. I miss you and your lovely aviators. I'm very jealous of that. I have a theory that he came out of the womb with those sunglasses on. That's just my theory, though.
I mean, I've seen plenty of streams with him not having them on.
I know, and I miss it. I miss it very much. Good to see you here, John. Now, let's talk, and thank you very much for the super chat. I greatly appreciate it. I appreciate the support, and I appreciate everybody who's on this panel and in the chat. No mercy. All right, I'm going to type that in myself.
May I just say how lovely Lorena looks as Scarlet Witch? Like, that is on point. I'm just saying.
Thank you. Thank
yeah.
you. I'm so freaking looking forward to WandaVision.
I am too.
No, it's good. I'm legitly. It's the only thing I'm actually excited for. I think maybe it's Doctor Strange.
I was gonna say Doctor Strange, yeah.
But WandaVision is like the actual what I'm actually looking forward to because it looks legitimately interesting. So we'll see what they do with Doctor Strange.
Yeah.
Yeah. What's up, Kai? Hey, everyone. Hey, Kai.
Up,
very
Kai?
nice to see
I was
you.
just on a stream with you.
He is one of the nicest, most chill people that I have met through
Kai.
YouTube. He's a really cool guy. Stone Cold Jeremy, thank you for the
Kind of a
super
dick
chat. I greatly
sometimes.
appreciate that. Happy New Year, Justin. Happy New Year to the panel and the wonderful chat. Hashtag No mercy. Well, thank you, Stone Cold Jeremy, and I hope you had a happy New Year as
And
well.
Cobra Kai never
Happy
dies.
New Year.
Yeah, it's been a few weeks since we've last had This Week in Bullshit. So now we're talking about Cobra Kai. I figured next week we'll talk about we'll have This Week in Bullshit return. But there's a lot of crap that happened this week, but we're not going to talk about any of it because I don't care today. I am going to talk about Cobra Kai. We're all going to just discuss something that we love for once instead of something that we hate.
Absolutely.
And that we love. So I'm going to hold off on spoilers for at least, like, I don't know, the first 15 minutes or something. We can all talk about it. I just want to go around the panel and see what everyone thought of this season. But first, I just want to point out that I like this season. I really liked it. I even loved it. There were points where I was just shouting at the screen, and even though my TV's right here, where I was going like, "Yeah," or like, "Oh, what? Oh, that bitch! Why'd she do that? Why did he do that?" You know, I'm actually engaged in this show more than I could say about any show, really, which is a testament to how good it is and how terrible everything else is. Not to say that it doesn't have flaws. There's some things I didn't like. But overall, I really liked it. Oh, by the way, hey, thank you, McKinney90 for the super chat. Hail Justin and everyone on the panel. I said McKinney90. Ah, dang it.
That drawing dude. Just call him that drawing dude.
How did I am so sorry. How did I miss that?
Improper.
My bad. Thank you so much for the super chat, McKinney90. So whoever wants to go first, Lorena, what was your initial thoughts without giving too much away?
My initial thoughts were the season was awesome. I thought it was really good. My question after the end of the second season was like, oh my God, where do they go from here? And that was my question. I'm just like, where are they going to go? Where are they going to go? And they picked up, handled it realistically. They did. Kept me engaged. I mean, I binged this in like a day. Because I got back from traveling, I just watched it in like a day, and I couldn't wait for like the next episode. Just play the next episode and keep playing the next episode. So I had a couple of nits with it, but overall, it didn't detract from my enjoyment. I will say that just because I like really, really effed up cliffhanger endings, I prefer season 2. But season 3 was great. Season 3 was great.
I agree with you on the season 2 ending. I was on the edge of my seat. I was waiting for a year and a half. And by the way, if you haven't, it's okay if you haven't seen season 3 at this. I'm not spoiling anything that hasn't been out for a year and a half. What happened to Miguel at the very end? Oh my!
I was crying on Twitter.
I still can't believe it. That was a huge move.
I know. I'm just like, wow. And that's one of the things that I'm not going to say it yet, but when we get to it, I have a lot of thoughts on that.
I felt so sorry.
I was happy that they. Never mind. I can't do it yet. Can't say anything yet, but I really want to.
I just feel sorry for the janitor. He had to clean up all of that crap afterwards, man. That guy had an extra workload.
Right. I know.
The janitor, the broom, and the mop.
And I just got to say that that bitch Tori, that was all your fault. I
agree.
I was so angry at the season finale after everything that happened. She has no right to blame anybody for what happened because it was her fault. It was her fault, all of it. You could have just confronted Sam and then just beat her up there and then not have the whole fucking world and literally announce it. But no.
Well, you got to use that trope, right? You got to go in there. You got to break into the PA system room, ruin the student announcements, and say to everyone, "I'm coming for you."
I'm coming for you, bitch. Yeah, I liked the line. I liked everything, but I was like, at the same time, I'm like, I have no sympathy for you at all.
I think it would have been better if they pulled off like a dynasty style, and instead of like karate fighting, they just did the slaps and you bitch, and then slap you bitch, and then did that as a closing. That would have been much better.
That's fair. John Matrix, that's a bold statement. He says it's the best season yet, and the final episode was the best in the franchise history, movies and TV show.
I did like the finale.
Wow.
Compared to season 1, I don't know.
No, I think season 1, I'll be honest, is my favorite. It's damn near good television, but I like season 3. It's
television.
Probably.
You're right, Chef.
I don't know what best television is, honestly, so that's why I'm not saying it is, but...
Can I ask a question? Did any of you guys, when you're like, say if you binged the seasons again just to go through the whole 3, let's say, did any of you feel like you were not watching a series but watching a longer cut of the Karate Kid movies put together? Is that what it felt like in a way?
I wouldn't say that. I mean, not the Karate Kid movie specifically. Maybe. No. I mean, it did feel very cinematic in terms of being movie-esque in many ways.
I should have rephrased that. When you were watching it, did it feel like you just continued off the last Karate Kid movie you remember, let's say 2, and it had the same flow? Like you didn't feel like disruptions would make you pulled out of the whole series?
It does feel like you were cryogenically frozen and then you woke up.
Oh yeah.
And the next thing you know, it's bam happening. Like you dropped right back into these guys' lives without missing a beat.
Yeah. That arm scene.
It just had like a very mini-series feel. No, actually, I won't say mini-series. I'll say telenovela feel.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, exactly.
So it's so many episodes, but it's like each piece fits seamlessly with each other.
It's like Maria. That's pretty much what it was.
Yeah, it is very soap opera-esque. I will give it that. Yeah, I think Tom said that on Monday, where he just was pointing out. Yeah, it feels like a guy's soap opera, and I have to agree with that wholeheartedly. With all of the kick and action, and yet still drama.
Can you say that again?
Kick.
Oh, kick. Whatever. I'm a girl. Leave me alone.
I'm a girl. I'll play kickity kick if I want to.
No, it doesn't matter if you're a girl or not. You still said it. And it didn't make it any better.
I'm not into martial arts. You leave me alone. I didn't do it. Hashtag Mary did nothing wrong in the chat, guys.
I refuse.
No, it was Tori.
Hashtag kickity.
Hashtag kickity kick.
Wow. Celebrity Jerry says Cobra Kai is essentially the Peter Jackson length Karate Kid 4.
Wow.
That's saying a lot. that really is.
Wow.
I think it's very hard to compare something as beautiful as Lord of the Rings and this. I think these are two different things entirely that I don't think are comparable because they're so different.
I think it comes down to the fact that we have the directors and the producers and all the actors. They not only know what this is supposed to be about, they don't deter about what it's supposed to be about. And they keep that form through 3 seasons. And not many shows can do that. If you've noticed, a lot of long-running shows that eventually you're just like, okay, it's season 6. I'm done. I want some popcorn. I'm going to go home. You know what I mean?
But this is also a testament to how tight their showrunners are with this.
Oh, yes. Josh, John, and Hayden, I believe are their names. Yeah, they are not only they're also very, very cool with their fans. They're not afraid to interact. They don't separate themselves too much. They're very much well connected in this fan base. There are a few YouTube channels that some of them have been on. Some of the cats have been on. I mean, I know Star Wars Theory has Cobra Kai Theory. He's had a couple great interviews. There's a couple more. One is Watch Party, which has been, I mean, he just goes all in with the Cobra Kai stuff. I mean, it's ridiculous. He literally was he was trying to get as much information as he could out of an Instagram post that had a script, and he was trying to read the page that was right after that. He was trying to read the second page, even though it was kind of blurry. He was trying to make out those. I'm like, are you serious? Some people just go to the extreme, but to try to find out as much information as possible. But it's all in good spirits. It's all in good fun, and he loves the show. Cobra Kai Kid is also good.
I watched a little bit of his stuff.
Yeah, it feels nice that that they do this for me, so I don't have to. So, honestly, I don't think I can stare at Instagram photos all day and like try to decipher what they do.
Yeah, me too.
They're really good. But Mary, I don't know, like what else did you? I don't know if we didn't really talk too much about this season in particular, though.
Well, without getting spoilery, if you're just asking my overall opinion of the season, I don't feel like they could have done a better job in following up season 2. Much like Laurie and I was sitting there going, God, where do you go from here? How do you top this? And they did in a very different way. That was what I really enjoyed about this season, was that they took their time and, well, I wouldn't say that they topped the finale of season 2. They certainly matched it in a very different tone, right? You're just as excited, just as anxious to move on to the next season at the end of this one. You're just as ready to roll forward as quickly as possible, right? And all of that really stems from caring about these characters, from being deeply invested in what it is that they're going through. And while it has a lot of curves, you take a lot of turns in this particular season where you're kind of being jolted around a bit. It still never gets uncomfortable. You never get queasy, as it were, trying to keep up with anything. And so it was just the right amount. And you just found yourself diving deeper and deeper and deeper into your investment with these characters. My only lament is that Aisha's gone. I loved her.
I was so upset about that.
And I think we're past the 15-minute
I think she'll return next season.
We can talk about spoilers now. A little. We can go into that a little bit.
Okay.
But that's one thing that I kind of heard a couple.
Yay!
But the main thing that I heard was that Aisha was not. I mean, the writers couldn't find anything for her to do. Also, I kind of noticed that she was the only sensible person in left in Cobra Kai. One of the more sensible people. There aren't many of them. When there's all this conflict that's been happening, she could have easily just, I feel like with the first 2 seasons and this one as well, every single episode, I'm like, one conversation can fucking fix everything. But no, the miscommunication keeps happening because we need the plot. And Aisha, I guess, was a way that could just fix everything just like that. And they're just like, we don't know what to do with her. So,
well, I give them credit for basically saying, you know what, if we don't have anything to do for her, we'd rather not, just have her there just as window dressing.
That makes perfect sense. The Atlantean, thank you so much for the super chat. He says, "Hail all." Well, hail to you, the Atlantean, and I got my Coors Banquet just for you and everyone else here. Cheers, guys.
Cheers. I did have one question, Justin. This is a personal question.
The Atlantean.
Would you like to buy this used laptop? The battery's dead.
Wow, really?
You thought it was wireless?
Yeah, I thought it was wireless. What the hell, man?
Oh my God! How can he be? There are some moments where I'm just like, really, Johnny, really?
You know what? There are some people out there that are like that. I'm so serious.
My dad is like that. All right, my dad is like that. Seriously, if you guys watch The Last Karaoke, you can literally hear me losing the last shred of sanity that I have, trying to walk him through that shit. It was really difficult.
Did you break my drum?
My dad used to be like that.
Oh, God. I had relatives that would call me late at night for tech support. I'm like, why don't you call tech support? Why? We can just call you.
Oh, I hate that answer.
This is kind of a weird question.
Oh, no, that must be really, really awful.
My dad
really,
does
really
that.
bad.
It's horrible.
I did have
Look, I understand if it's like, hey, I really don't want to, one time. You get one time, but you can't do it all the time. Can't do it all the time.
I did have one serious question, though. I don't know if this is relevant, but who do you think did it better? Cobra Kai's new season or Mandalorian's new season?
Cobra Kai, easily.
Definitely Cobra Kai.
Yep.
I mean, if it hadn't been for the last episode of Mandalorian, this would be no contest. But look, it's very close. But to be fair, it had a weak first half, so
that's what did it for me, because for The Mandalorian, the first 2 episodes were so bad, I was ready to quit. I literally was ready to quit.
The only reason why I bring this up is because it's technically Star Wars, and Cobra and like Karate Kid was like also in the 80s to a point.
Yeah, me too.
It kind of falls to that.
Yeah, I hear you and everything, but like freaking Star Wars needs to be taking a page out of Cobra Kai's book.
That's exactly it.
God,
We've been saying this for 3 years now, that this needs to happen, that they need to learn from this show. And I mean, I think everyone should be taking a page out of Cobra Kai.
Well, the way they respected the characters is huge.
Yeah.
Oh,
Doctor
yeah,
Who,
and they
Star
already
Trek,
had.
everywhere.
Well, here's the thing: they have a foundation to work off of. They already have like angles that because fans have been making YouTube videos about this, especially J. Matthew Turner. That video was really excellent, and as well as the How I Met Your Mother episode with, if you guys remember that, where they had Ralph Macchio and Billy Zabka. That was really fun to watch too. So there were already ideas floating around, and it's just like, maybe we should do something with that. So it's just like this. It just makes sense. It makes perfect sense. And this is not a series that anybody asked for. No one was, on their knees begging for a Karate Kid spinoff series or anything like that. No. But the fact that we got it and it's just here and it's so good. And we've been, Mary, I think we were saying this 2 years ago. We were ecstatic about season 2.
Yeah.
Absolutely ecstatic. I'm feeling most of that energy now, but it's still one of those shows that, it does not deserve to be this good, but I'm glad that it is. And I hope nobody ever loses it.
Definitely.
There's only two shows out there right now, and I think that's Expanse and Cobra Kai that are actually living up to their names of not faltering the audience as well as keeping the audience around. Now that's kind of weird for television, don't you agree?
I didn't really sad. What? Yeah.
You didn't get that? Okay. Do you find it kind of weird though that the only things that are doing well so far when it comes to our pop culture stuff, especially stuff with member-berry shows, is Cobra Kai and then The Expanse? We don't really have anything else that seems to be doing very well every season.
Well, it's only one that's respecting. Like it's
only
one respecting characters and the fans.
I agree, but Expanse is kind of also respecting the fans and the books to a certain point. So it's kind of like we have so much out there, yet why is it only 2 shows are pulling it off so well when they have so much? Isn't that just boggle your mind in a way?
Oh, absolutely.
It does boggle the mind because you would think that there would be an adequate amount of people, a pool of people to pull from with a serious level of love that that can be demonstrated through these shows, right? You would think, because there's no lack of fandom out there for any given show, right? It's nowhere near as niche as it was.
It's always there, but the Karate Kid fandom, may not have been as big as maybe the Star Trek or Star Wars fandoms. Definitely not. But there are still fans out here. There's still fans that are like, hey, this would be cool to see. And there are people who have the power in Hollywood who can make it happen and make it real. And what makes it so surprising, or maybe not so surprising, is that these people who came up with this are the guys who made who would have thought? The fucking dudes who made Harold and
Kumar
and Hot Tub Time Machine. And what else did they do? They directed the fourth American Pie movie, American Reunion. Those are all good and everything. They're okay, but it's not something that you're just like, maybe we should hire the Harold and Kumar guys to make our spinoff. That would be a great idea.
I think they've done so much work with world building, and it kind of brings to mind an interview that I sat in with Joe Malozzi, who was the producer on Stargate SG-1. He was talking about how it's like studios are only interested in just milking IPs. They're not interested in world building and building their own canon and developing their characters and building a world that people can actually relate to. They just want to ride, on the coattails of the IP. So I think with these guys, with Cobra Kai, they're just like, what? We really have to put our nose to the grindstone and come up with something where the fans have a reason to watch.
Well,
And
here's
they've
the big
done that.
difference. Like, I think with this one, they went into the story, not drive a narrative. Where so many of the shows are now they use an old franchise to push forward some sort of new narrative that they want to get across, and people don't like that. It was pure story. You got to see Johnny, growing up and what happened and how we spiraled out of control, and there was nothing else behind that except just to say that, this is what happens if you don't take care of yourself, and it's an amazing way that they wrote it. They just told the story.
And even to the point where, I'm sorry, and I didn't interrupt you, but even bringing up Kreese's backstory.
Yeah,
that was one of my favorite parts.
Honestly, it was one of my least favorites, and I still enjoyed it and appreciated its value and what it added to the story.
You didn't like it?
I didn't say I didn't like it. I said it was one of my least favorites, and that's because there's really not anything in the show that I hate. Right? There's you can appreciate it from beginning to end, even if there are moments where you're going, "Why didn't somebody fucking actually call the cops?" Right? Like
they address everything. It's very self-aware. It's very meta at points, and when they actually, you know what? Okay, I'm just going to put this out here. Spoilers. There are we're going to get into that territory right now. Okay. So, but first I got to get to a couple of super chats. Celebrity Jeremy, thank you again for the super chat. It is very much appreciated. He says, unfortunately, Lucasfilm is not interested in good stories, or at least not enough good stories. That you can argue that Mandalorian has episodes where there's actually a lot of good stories, a lot of them being filler, but the overall story is actually very enjoyable, and I really like it. It's just unfortunate that they're not really willing to do that with they didn't do that with the movies. I didn't even like Solo. I didn't even like Rogue One. They don't make characters that are interesting enough or that are exciting to watch on screen. They don't care about. It seems as though that they don't like fans. That's whether they actually don't like the fans or they do. The thing is, we've had enough run-ins with them that it just comes across so defensive and combative. And it's like you are slapping your customers in the face, or at least a lot of them. So I don't get it. I don't see any point in that. And it's just very, very unfortunate that, whatever agenda they have takes priority over something that we'd enjoy. It's really sad.
And that's why they lose fans. Like, people aren't interested in watching it for that reason. They don't want to be preached at for a couple hours. They want to enjoy something.
There is one thing, though, I am hoping for. Hot Toys gets them the license and makes statues.
Wow.
You know what I mean? I really hope they...
Because I know their Star Wars ones are off the chain. I know that.
Could you imagine seeing a Johnny and Daniel in the Crane Cake final scene?
I think that if anything, that there would be a statue of the Crane Kick somewhere. I don't know where. I don't really want there to be necessarily. That's not something I would ask for, but be like, okay, why not?
The last figures I remember seeing for Karate Kid is, I think, when Funko still owned the Reaction figure toy line, which looked like those really cheesy G.I. Joe characters. You know which ones I'm talking about?
Now that you're talking about action figures, I'm very confused as to why that they don't have a toy line. But I mean, maybe because this is young kids.
Reaction figures weren't very popular, especially when Funko had them. But there was Karate Kid ones. I'll find the thing for you in a bit. So
I don't doubt that.
Did
John
it come
Matrix,
complete with crane action?
Hold on a second. Real quick, John Matrix, thank you so much for the generous super chat. He says there are 0, and I actually want to get into this a little bit. There are 0 filler episodes with Cobra Kai, unlike The Mandalorian. Episode 2 of this season of Mando was a waste of time. I agree 100%.
Wholeheartedly agree.
It was pointless. It was straight out of Harry Potter mixed with bullshit, literally frog lady. Are you fucking kidding me?
Like from Aliens.
Why? I hated it. I hated it so much. And he says, I just can't get enough of Cobra Kai. It is by far the better show. And I agree with you. I think that there are great moments in Mandalorian, but the thing is, it's not consistent. And
exactly.
And I'm glad that you really enjoyed season 3. This is what I like to see. I like to see that people are happy about this. Even if I'm not as happy about it as you are, I'm glad that you are happy because I wish I was just as happy. But it's still very good. I still enjoyed it. But, I mean, you really seem to love it, and I couldn't be happier for you. Seriously.
See, the thing with Mando is like with Cobra Kai, you can watch it through. Sure, there might be something that might throw you off, but you can still keep watching the show. It doesn't pull you out. With Mando, you'd be watching it, and then they would have like, let's say, the wrong music or the extra in the background of the Imperial base they forgot to cut out. They would have little things that they don't go over with a comb to make sure it flows. And a lot of the flow in Mandalorian doesn't go like a river. It goes like river, dam, river. And it's very hard to keep your eyes and your brain focused when something keeps pulling you out with the miscontinuality. You know what I mean? Continuity. I can never say that word.
Continuity?
Continuity, thank you.
Yep.
Orlando.
Sinister says, holy hell, did the son lose weight? Yeah. Yes. Antonio, he's a skinny dude now. Holy shit.
I wasn't sure if that was the same kid. Like the replaced actor.
It was. Hey, you're real quick, Fat Steven, I think you're clipping out a little bit.
Am I better now?
I just want to let you aware of that. So before we get into real, I guess more specifically, I want to know what you guys thought of. Well, real quick, I want to get Yeti Cass. We haven't, you haven't talked a little bit, so I'd really like to get your thoughts on the overall season, and you can have spoilers if you want. We're past the point of no return.
Oh, okay. I thought it was more of a mixed bag. And I'll preface this with saying, like, I absolutely loved the whole series. That the first season is some of the best television ever made. But I thought they faltered at several points in season 3. And there's a couple things that kept hitting me. It was like the score and transitions in particular. It felt more like an after school special. Like the score just felt wrong to me. And it really took me out. Because the way that the music queued up, that threw me off. And then there was some of the way that the fight scenes came about, where the previous 2 seasons there was always a reason that the story was driving the drama, but season 3 it seemed more.
I don't know if it's just me, but are you clipping out too? Is it just me?
Am I?
Yeah, he has better.
No, he's clipping out. Yeah.
He's chipping a little bit. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Carry on, but just try to keep that in mind.
Oh, okay.
I'm sorry. Did I interrupt your flow?
It might be it might be his mic just.
By the way, Polly says hello. What's up, Polly? It's very nice to see you
Polly.
here. Polly said earlier that he thought that there are a couple filler episodes, the ones that were before and after the Okinawa. I don't know if I agree.
I like the Okinawa stuff, but I'll give it
I liked Daniel going to Japan. I thought that, I mean, yeah, he had a reason to go, which, by the way, we all knew he was going to go to Okinawa. We didn't know why he was going to go there, but we knew that it was going to happen. But I was very happy with the way that they executed it, and they did it in a realistic way. Because who's just going to, like, if you think about it, why would he just say, like, I'm just going to go to Japan for no reason? No, he has to do it to basically save his business. And the before and after episodes, I mean, they're all very important. If you take out those episodes, you lose a lot of valuable information. So everything in there is necessary, absolutely necessary. So, but that's just me, personally.
I did think that the drama was starting to drive the story, and that's where my whole main issue came from. And that's where the fight scene just started popping up. That seemed to be out of nowhere. And let me know if my audio was any better, because I thought it was fine.
Not.
It's not.
No,
okay.
you keep clipping out. Okay. Yeah. So try to work on that a little bit. But yeah, I'm very, very happy overall with the Okinawa stuff. It seemed like one of those times where it was just like, this is kind of coincidental, if you know what I mean. I'm just like, this is too convenient. Did anybody else kind of get that?
What, the Okinawa stuff?
Yeah, like
I think they
at the
really
very
did
end,
fine.
when he saved that girl,
Mhm.
and she just happened to be a part of the that Tokyo
Yeah.
that dealership.
That seemed a little too Deus Ex Machina. I mean, I
Mhm.
can see why they did it, but it's
It's nice that the lesson's good,
yeah,
but
it's like the lesson's good. It felt a little too convenient, but I'm like, I'll overlook it.
Yeah, I mean, I could see that perspective. Didn't she go and get her though? Didn't
oh yeah, Kumiko.
yeah.
Yeah.
Didn't she bring her in deliberately, right? Like for that particular moment. I mean, I think it's different when you incorporate a person's agency or will into that moment, right? When someone went the hell out of their way to go do this specific. It's not like she just showed up randomly, right? It's not as though they just ran across one another's path. No, she brought her there very deliberately for a moment, and I think that lends itself to more credibility than perhaps if he just run past her, just run across her.
And I think that's why I'm more willing to say, I'll allow it.
Yeah, I mean, there's so much that there's so much amazing things that happen anyways, and there's some things that I could just be like, okay, I can forgive this one.
Mhm.
It doesn't happen very often, but it's just like I think that is, I think I even said it like out loud. I'm just like, okay, I'm giving this a pass. Like this is your one this is your one pass. And yeah, Paulie, I get it. Yeah, you could tell the plot points faster, but there's a lot more story to tell. You have everything that's going on with Robbie, everything that's going on, back in Los Angeles, with the new Cobra Kai. There's a lot of other things to be had in those episodes. It's not just Daniel.
Don't blow your wad all at once, right? Like
Yeah.
there's still like
So I
you
mean,
can hardly say sorry.
oh no, all I was gonna say is, yeah, it was a little slower, but it wasn't filler. I think there's a difference. But
Well, and I was going to say you could hardly accuse this show of moving slowly, right? This show has
it feels like a movie.
It does.
the show has such a wonderful pace to it that just teeters on the edge of moving slightly too fast, although not quite there, right? Like you can accuse Cobra Kai of a few things. Where the hell are the police? But what you can't accuse it of is moving too slowly. The fact that it slows down occasionally and takes its time with certain things, I think, is to its benefit, certainly not its detriment. And leave some room for next season and hopefully another season after that. Damn it, I don't want it to end.
That's something I wanted to get to. I wanted to get to a little later, but we could talk about it certainly now. I heard that they had plans for 6 seasons. I would invite all of them.
Wow.
But and now I could just easily say is what happened at the end. It almost feels like we are entering the third act with season 4. I don't know why. I just get a feel like what's going to happen afterwards. Really, like what the tournament and stuff. There's not much that you can easily predict aside from maybe a couple of Johnny and Daniel are not going to agree on how to teach their students, and it's going to be very, very difficult.
Nor should they.
No, but they're from opposite sides of teaching in a certain way, right? So they kind of bring balance to that dojo because it'll make the students decide how far to go with violence and how far to go with defense, when to raise and when not. Both of them are kind of their own yin and yang because they're both not only frenemies, but they're also rivals, I think, in a certain way. And the way it feels, it's like they're redoing the 1 and 2. So I think they'll do the third one, and it's going to be something to do with fake Steven Seagal that was in the third movie that wasn't. You know what I'm talking about? It feels like that guy is going to come in, and he is going to... he looked like fake Steven Seagal because he had the ponytail and the hair. And
Terry Silver?
Yeah. So that's what it feels like. It has the same feel.
He reminded me more of one of the Power Rangers for some reason.
I'm not listening to you anymore because you're just salty Power Rangers now at this point.
What? No, he does.
He does not look like Tommy. He does not look like Tommy. Okay?
The fact that you knew who I was talking about proves my
Power
point.
Rangers, because Power Rangers in the 90s is when storytelling was still good even for Fox Kids, okay?
God.
But what I'm trying to say is it has that weird pretense to me that it's going to be like Karate Kid 3. It's going to have attachments to that movie.
We
But at
already
the
had
same
attachments
time,
to that movie. Had flashbacks.
You know, yeah, but we don't. But not Terry Silver or the other guy that wanted to fight him for the title. Yeah, I'm trying. I can't remember all the names. Oh, come on, slowly. I'm just trying to say it has that kind of pretense and feel. They might not do it, but I think they're running out of characters to honestly build another enemy for them to face after Kreese is conquered. You know what I mean? They can't make Kreese the enemy for 6 seasons.
Right. I agree with that. And at some point, they've even said that they're not going to say no to any of the next Karate Kid stars either. So yeah. I mean, they could bring back Julie. They could bring back any character really of those 4 movies. Those are the 4 movies that are in this. I guess what they call like the Miyagi verse or whatever. Which is sounds stupid, ridiculous, but it makes it makes sense though.
Can I ask a question? Though?
Yeah.
Were any of you guys upset when you saw that Okinawa was torn down? Yet there was no showing of the military base that was there before.
I didn't like that.
Yeah.
I did like the dancing though. The dancing with the kids, that was a nice touch.
The dancing was cool. I expected to see Tomy Village, and I didn't like that it was like touristy Tomy Village.
But that's the reality of most of these things. That's inevitable, and it kind of
you'd think Sato would do something to preserve at least a part of it, not just a couple houses. Sato changed his ways after 2, so you'd think he would go to the point of making sure that village was not only well funded, but would last a couple more decades onwards.
But I can kind of get both points, and I think maybe this is why they went there with this. It's like Daniel goes there thinking he's going to see the Tomy village that he remembers, and it's like, you know what? Sometimes things change, and what you thought was going to be there, it's no longer there anymore. It's like the next incarnation. Like I forget, he asked her about something and she said, we don't have that, but now we have a Jersey Mike's. And that's like when you go to a foreign country, you think it's this charming village. I'm going to go to this restaurant. Yeah, we have a great one. It's McDonald's.
I know, but this happens all the time. You go to any foreign country and they just have the exact same shit that we do. Yeah. And I would come all the way over here to eat at a McDonald's in Tokyo. Yeah. No, that's not what I.
Hey man, hold on. Don't knock the McDonald's in a different country because they actually sell different stuff.
That's not my point.
In England, they actually fry their apple pies in lard, and I freaking love y'all for that.
I think
that's not my point. I know you lived in Japan for a long time, or for a while back.
A couple
years. Okay. But no, what I'm saying is that if you're gonna go to a foreign country like that, you can eat at a McDonald's anywhere, but you can't get some of this stuff that's there. Like, go to the local places. I mean,
I did go to the local places, but why not both? Right? Like,
you live there. There's a difference. Not everyone who goes there.
Well, but actually, the local places are right next to the freaking McDonald's, Justin. Yeah. It's not one or the other.
Most people don't have that much time in Japan. What I mean.
There's one thing I think they missed out during the Okinawa scenes. What they could have done is that I really kind of wish Daniel went back to the fishing pier if it was still standing and actually did the training Miyagi was doing on that single wooden post that was in the ground. I would really have liked to see him on the beach contemplating and having that same time, and they missed out on doing that. They really missed out on that because that was not only a scene of a lesson, it was a scene of memory to most. And they kind of forgot to do something like that. That's one of my things I was not keen on not seeing.
Well, there's only so much you can do. And
I know.
And I'll get to this one in a minute. Stone Cold Jeremy says, "Don't knock the McSushi." I'm sorry, Stone Cold Jeremy.
Funny.
Thank you for the super chat, but I did not know that there was a McSushi. I really didn't. Jeff Nation, good to see you here. Thank you again for the super chat. Says, "I'm just gonna say it, Elizabeth Shue. Damn.
Yes,
absolutely good. Oh my god. You know what?
I did like seeing Allie.
Allie, This is something that I was really happy with.
That's where the Telemundo thing
There were
bothers
so
me,
many
though.
returning characters that all had their purpose, and they all did a great job. Chosen was great. Kumiko was great. They even got the little girl that Daniel saved at the end of part 2, and they had a flashback, just in case you forgot. The person who, as we know...
Yeah, I loved it.
Yeah, who he saved and had saved his business, and the lesson, you too, the good that you put in the world will come back to you. And like, that's why I was like, okay, I can give that plot convenience a pass. But wow, Allie was great. And I was worried that, people had theorized that because she was a pediatrician, she was going to come back and and when they said, oh, there's a doctor from out of state, and you see a girl, she kind of looks like Allie, like a female doctor, and I'm like, no. And then I was like, oh, thank God it wasn't that.
Yeah, I thought that was that too. I like how they faked this out there.
They did a little bit. They took all the theories that people had put out there, and they were like, we're a couple steps ahead of you. We're not going to fall for that. We're not going to do that. We'll listen. We like the idea, but no. And so it's a way to not really subvert expectations, but just kind of misdirect you a little bit to keep you on your toes a bit. And it was nice to finally see Elizabeth Shue back, and she looks great.
Yeah. Do you guys think that they're gonna pull a Telemundo with Allie and Miguel's mom in the next season? And because of some of the questions that Allie was asking when talking to Johnny, like, "Oh, what's your kid's name? How is your kid doing?" Those are kind of lines where a woman is showing interest not only in you but your family because she wants to know what's going on. I'm not a master of women here. I'm just saying that. But there were little things like that made me seem like that Allie's going to be around a lot more.
Yeah, I thought she was going to play a bigger role in the end.
I think that there's going to be some type of like love drama between, or I think that Miguel's father isn't dead. I can't remember. Is he?
No, he's just he's a very bad man.
He might show up in the next season, and that might cause conflict with Miguel on whether to continue karate or go with his dad and the whole mom thing with Allie. I begin to think that something like that's going to maybe happen in season 4.
Right. Well, maybe. There's a lot of things that they could do. There were a couple of things in the chat that were very interesting. I think Will Gentry had said something. He said Terry Silver and Mike Barnes are going to be in the last series, and they'll team up with Kreese, making it 3-on-2. So Chosen will come in and join Johnny and Daniel. Mark my words. Wouldn't that be kind of an almost like a weird Avengers type situation?
Yeah, I don't know if I like that idea, honestly.
Would that be too? I mean, it wouldn't. I think that everything that happened in Okinawa is going to stay there. That's just me.
Yeah,
why would they go all the way?
Should stay there.
Yeah, Chosen had his moment, and he was really good in this season as well. I hated him in part 2. I'm like, this is a homicidal maniac.
I was mad at Kumiko for freaking inviting him. I'm like, woman, what is wrong with you?
She's like, yeah, okay. Try to deal.
Yeah, I know. Like, when you see him in the show, it's like he acts like the same character, and I'm like, oh, why? Like, Daniel, why are you going with him? This is a bad idea. But then later on, it's like,
you're forgetting the easiest things. You can't judge a book by its cover. Everything changes over the years.
Yeah,
and he was trying to have that mentality because he was trying to maintain that intimidation. Because later on, he does say to Daniel, "I lost my honor. I lost myself. I lost my sensei." He literally goes through everything he's lost. So he is trying to keep that wall up because he thinks that wall is what he needs to protect himself. Because he was probably trained that weakness is from emotion. And I'm just doing this by opinion and guess. Don't hate on me for saying this. But he had that wall up. But when you saw him smile at the end of the lesson with Daniel before he left, you could see he was a different person in his heart, especially when he's teaching school classes.
You know what really got me is when he decided to do the honk. And he started laughing his ass off after that. And I'm like, okay. That's when everything just kind of came together. I'm like, okay, I get it. I think he was probably one of my. I'm not gonna. This is gonna be kind of a tough thing to defend, but my personal favorite part. I think Chosen was the best part of this whole series, in my opinion.
He
One
had
of the
a good
best
arc.
parts.
He was, a guy.
He was-
I'd say
it was
one of the best parts. I wouldn't say the best part.
This was a redemption season and a bonding season because a lot of them was not only all the drama and the traumatic events that happened in season 2, it was a way to make amends from past villains and learn from those past villains that they're not always the villains you thought they were, and to move over it. And they are doing this in such a way that you don't even realize that it's happening until you watch it a second or third time. And it's a nice feeling knowing that the school bully, let's put it in that pretense, isn't always going to live the life of a bully.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? Chosen is a good man at heart. I think the lessons and the people he was around are what warped the type of student Sato meant him to be, because Sato was training under his own hatred of Miyagi. So it got passed down. That's what teachers and senseis don't realize.
It was powerful to see how he was had to restrain and become disciplined to like take back the anger that he ended up being able to restrain his angry urges and end up becoming the man that he did to help others. Like I thought that was a good moment, the way that they went through that.
I agree, because at the same time, though, did any of you expect Chosen to say he's a teacher? Did any of you expect that? That means he is trying to pass on not only lessons to a younger generation, but he's trying to be better to teach that new generation. So that, in a way, is showing him overcoming his own hurdles of past. So that's
and how many times do we get to see, Daniel LaRusso train again? I think that might be the last time.
I thought they were going to kiss. I was really hoping for it. Like every other series out there. That was all thank you, Daniel-san. That's all I was expecting.
Oh, no.
You have banged my drum correctly.
Oh, man. But that's something that I kind of want to get into a little bit more. What did you think about some of the characters that were in season 1 that came back for this season? Now we're getting into the younger generation now, like Yasmin, and she's the Regina George. That's the best way I can put it. And
I didn't care for all that much.
And then Kyler coming into Cobra Kai. What'd you guys think of both of those and how they were absent in season 2, as we mentioned earlier? There's nothing for them to do, so why include them? But having them back here, what did you think of that? And Runner, I guess, why don't you start first?
Like just the question you're bringing up right now, or like what I thought?
Yeah, you can get into. Well, more. I think the better question is the bullies joining Cobra Kai.
Oh, not what I expected, but makes sense if you think about it. Yeah, because they were starting to lose some people, and yeah, I could see the bullies joining Cobra Kai. That's a pretty good fit for them. But no, not much to say there, honestly. But yeah.
I was very satisfied when Hawk, wasn't it Hawk that beat up the skinny rips and skinny dips and bong rips guy, like the
the
I don't know.
Oh, ass face. You mean ass face?
Ass face.
Was
That's
that
what Johnny
his
called
name?
him. Johnny would call him. Was that or penis breath, right? Yeah.
No, it was both. It was ass face and penis breath was both names,
penis
but...
breath. Oh yeah, I think that's an ET reference. Oddly enough.
No, but like Hawk beats the crap out of him. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That was very satisfying.
That was satisfying.
I think in the last season, it was really a huge emasculation for Hawk. And Chef Nation says, "My boy Hawk found his balls this season." It was
right.
It was touch and go for a minute, but he found them.
He might have found his balls,
but every time.
He might have found his balls.
I think you win. You win the comments for the time being.
But
bit touch and go. Seriously, like he was. Hawk was. Eli was emasculated the last season, especially the last 2 episodes. He finds out that his ex, like he's hitting on, this woman to make her ex jealous. Turns out that's her girlfriend. And he's like, oh shit, I feel horrible now. And then after that, Dimitri kicks his ass.
Yes.
Even more humiliating. And then here I was so happy that he got a bit of redemption, and I liked what they did with Hawk so much, especially when he broke Dimitri's arm, which is a kind of a fan speculation. There was a video that I saw like, oh, what would have happened if Miguel hadn't showed mercy and broke Robbie's arm? How would things have been different? Well, and it seems like they listened and then were like, that's interesting. Why don't we make this parallel? And I thought it was very effective. It was very well done. I was impressed.
But his balls might have dropped, as you guys so say. He might have become emasculated. But every time someone mentioned his ex or the girl he still had feelings for, he went into a sobbing puppy on the inside. You could see his face change. So he might be physically emasculated, but emotionally he's not. And I think that's where a lot of his second guessing when it came to a lot of the fight scenes between Cobra Kai and Miyagi were making him second guess, what is he actually doing this for? Because I think he's starting to see how much of a villain he is becoming, because he's letting his violence and fighting overtake the whole point of why he wanted to learn this.
Okay, do I sound any better now?
You sound like a Yeti.
Okay,
sound
good.
better, yeah. That's better.
Yeah, we were just talking about Hawk here, and I think we're just going to get into some of the characters too. So, what did you think about Hawk having his masculinity reinstated?
Oh, that was dark when he broke that arm. Oh my god, that was vicious.
That was hard. That was a little hard to watch. Just a little bit. Wow. But I think it was for the best though, because Will Gentry, said, this is referring to Yasmin. Her big dick joke on Dimitri's cats was god tier. They did the impossible. They actually made Regina George actually seem likable. Like
they were caught making out in the hallway.
That is the point where I was like, no.
Mm-hmm. Yes, because that's every nerd fantasy. The cheerleader or whatever, the hot girl, has enough respect for themselves to realize that not every person is what they automatically assume. It's back to that whole don't judge a book by its cover. Because she went from making fun of Dimitri all the time to the dick joke to making out with him in the hallway. And I'm going to stick with that.
I don't know about that. That seemed too much.
Look at her face when he showed.
I kind of agree with Justin on this one.
Look at the Lego model and how she was impressed and how far he went to make their project.
As someone who knows the Mean Girls pretty well, she could be slumming it. I'm just saying.
She could be.
Pay attention.
What are you talking about? What are you talking about?
Who?
Lorena. What do you mean?
What I'm saying is, how they could possibly write this is when I say slumming it, it's like, hey, I'm going to date this guy or hang out with this guy that I wouldn't normally deal with, but it's kind of interesting. So I'm going to try it for a while. And then when I get bored, I'll dump him. That's a standard Mean Girl story trope. I hope it doesn't happen, but what I'm saying is don't be surprised if it does.
Yeah.
But she doesn't have that same facial expression, though, as a Mean Girl when you're watching her in season 3, because she seems not so hostile. She's more hostile with being caught and not having people tell than she is being just outright mean.
We'll see how
I agree.
it works out.
She could be a Mean Girl. I'm not saying you're wrong. I'm just saying.
It'll be interesting. I would hope that that's kind of like the way that would go. But if the writers decide they really want to tap into that high school angsty cast system, they'll write it like that.
But Lorena, they could also go for the underdog. You know how the underdog always is like the one you're always rooting for. They could also be going for that as well, because that was one of common 80s movies, especially.
Oh yeah, like AKA Revenge of the Nerds.
Yeah,
I thought they were going for legitimate change, because she was horrified after season 2 and kind of realized what happened when being on the other side of those types of harassment. Like she didn't want any part of that, and I think this was the progression to becoming more balanced.
She in a way, she's fighting school. What was it called? Like your school cliques. You know how like your coolness, and she's trying to overcome school coolness of what she should do, and she's trying to go more with what she wants to do. And I think that's where her inner struggle is coming from. And you can see the way, like I said, her face and facial expressions change as she seems more open with Dimitri, even if it's slight little things.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I believe her.
I do think that Sinister's comment's pretty funny. Dimitri doesn't seem to care. He knows what he's in for.
He knows what's up.
He's just like, look, didn't he say in the first season he would do something like I would ditch both of you just to have her spit in my face or something like that.
Uh-huh. Yep.
I mean, that's when I was watching all 3 seasons with some of my best friends, when this came out, and my friend kept saying he said that he hated Dimitri. He hated him so much. He was annoying. But I'm like, no, I think he's one of my favorites. Actually,
yeah, I love
him. I've met people like that. I've really met people like that.
I thought he was annoying, but I didn't hate him.
I thought what he said was funny. Like one of his first lines, it's just like, "Oh yeah, we make out all the time. We give each other hand jobs."
It feels authentic, doesn't it? Doesn't it just feel authentic to, young boys, teenage boys, coming into their own and bullshitting with each other, right?
Oh yeah, and he's so over the top. Like ridiculous like that, and I'm like, how do you to a certain point you're like, I can't hate this. I really can't hate this, and it's great.
Have any of you noticed though they haven't done the one famous scene, I don't think at all yet, for a training purpose, and that's the fly and chopsticks? Do you think that might pop up in season 4 to help calm anger with certain people now?
Oh yeah, where the hell was that?
What do you want them to do? Put all of them in there?
No. You're misunderstanding that. Like, okay, there's some characters within them that are having their own fights that are more than others, right? Internally and externally with themselves. And I have a feeling at the same time, season 4, they might pull out the fly chopstick scene as a way to control and focus, let's say, your anger into a punch rather than going all crazy and losing it like Hawk did on that one guy in Cobra Kai's dojo. Or am I just off topic?
On the skinny dips and bong rips guy?
Well, Captain Bloody Face, yes.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. Again, it would be nice to know what these weirdo characters' names are. Like who are Robbie's friends or the criminal dudes? Bebop and Rocksteady. Like what? I don't know. Like it'd be nice to at least know their names. That'd be great. It doesn't matter though. They're not relevant though. So maybe I'm just overthinking it.
I thought the show
curious.
Up again.
I thought that was the only way for them to show up. I thought that they were going to be in the same juvenile detention center as Robbie. No, they're in jail. They're in prison now, which I was very surprised by. But not. I mean, I kind of was, but not so much. Oh God. I want to really talk about something that I wanted to talk about earlier, and we're going to start with Mary. What did you think of Miguel's recovery?
I thought it was done well. I think that anytime that a show remembers that there are consequences and that you have to keep in mind, because clearly there's a passage of time taking place, and they focus a lot on it. Mm-hmm. in the beginning. Is Miguel going to survive? Initially, you're not sure, and it takes it slow enough with the recovery process. Granted, it may have been a hair too fast for some people, and I could see that. But I do feel like they gave the amount of time necessary to acknowledge that there are consequences, right? And Robbie's on the run. Robbie went to jail for this, right? Mm-hmm. It doesn't laugh that off. It doesn't shirk it as no real responsibility for this thing that they portrayed and left everyone super concerned about. They dedicated, God, what, the first 4 episodes, 4 episodes or so, getting us back to a place with him where he's up and mobile and functioning again, like a person, at least. And so I felt like that was handled well. I certainly feel like you could handle it worse. Now, there would be an argument, I think, that some could make that it might have gone just a little too fast. But I'm going to be completely honest with you. I don't want to spend an entire season trying to get Miguel back on his feet, right? I felt like there was a real payoff at the end of the season where Miguel finally gets back to a place where he can actually kick somebody again, right? He can actually use his legs in a fight. And that in and of itself took a whole damn season for us to get to, right? And so there's an argument, I suppose, that some could make, but for me, I was good with it. I was completely comfortable with it. I didn't want to stay stuck in one place with him the whole time.
I'm gonna be honest. I wanted to see a quadriplegic situation. That's what I was expecting.
Serious?
For a little bit.
Some weird fetishes.
No, it's not that. It's not that, and here's why. They indicate when I first saw the season, I was like, oh yeah, he's definitely gonna be, we're gonna have wheelchair Miguel for a while. And I expected that. And I know I liked it. I liked wheelchair Miguel. That was done well, and I enjoyed it. I liked, Johnny, with the fishing reel and the porno magazine. Trying to
that was good.
Lighting nothing better than turning pages.
I liked all of that.
I'm with you.
I really was, when they focused on, one of those X-rays of his neck, not his, the lower base of his spine, but his neck. That's where I was like, yeah, I think he might be a quadriplegic. I really did. I was expecting that, and then it just didn't happen. And I was like, why would you emphasize the neck if that's not going to happen? I don't know. It didn't make total sense to me. I thought that it would be nice to have like a little bit of, okay, he slowly gains back his arms and everything. All right, but I don't know.
Yeah, by the end, it felt a little rushed.
It did feel a little rushed too, and I mean, yeah, I know, Mary, you didn't want
my only critique about that
of Miguel getting back on his feet. You know what? When one of the nurses said, these things, it's not that easy, it's not that simple.
Mm-hmm.
When I think Johnny definitely did help him, for sure. I mean, that whatever that weird hippie dude that he was in.
Yeah, I like that where he's like, take your time or whatever, and Johnny's like, F this, we need some tough love going on,
right?
And he lit the fire he lit his foot on fire.
Right.
You guys
stuff was
you guys
great.
are forgetting one thing though. A priest kicked Johnny's ass in a church. You do remember his friend who was a minister kicked his ass in a church, right?
That was funny.
It was funny.
That was freaking hysterical.
That was the holy
prayed
throwdown.
first, and then he did it.
Forgive me, Father, I am about to kick ass.
Yes.
And then he did it. Yes,
And he
that
took
was great.
him out. It was funny.
It was ridiculous. It was very ridiculous. I liked it. It was very ridiculous. Runner, what did you think about Miguel's swift? I'm sorry, I just had to say it one more time. No, I wanted more wheelchair Miguel. I just did. I did.
With you in wheelchairs, bro. That's like, do you got
Hey,
like
what's
some
up,
creepy
Tom?
fetish?
Good to see you.
Hey, what's up, Tom? I was on a Cobra
Nice,
Kai
man.
stream with him last night on Fanzine's channel. That was a lot of fun.
Nice. Tom, I'm going to just send you a link if you want to pop in. But yeah, no, look, I liked what they did with the Dee Snider concert. I really did.
I did like that. I like that.
No, I was gonna say to talk about wheelchair Miguel, as you like to call it.
I like calling him wheelchair Miguel. I just like it.
No, I think it was entertaining. Some of the things, like I like Johnny was trying to get him back up on his feet, even though it's like I'm watching it. I'm like, that's not how it works, but it's fun to watch anyway.
Yeah.
It was good until he was starting to kind of flip at that last fight. He's being beaten, and the guy was hitting him right where he got injured. That was brutal. he just kept punching there, and then he just pulls out these high kicks. Like that was going a little too far. Everything leading up to that was so good with him, that he was struggling to kick, but he's back on his feet. It was going slow. I kind of wish we knew how much time went by, because the other guy's arm was healed.
Math. It was around Allie. That episode was around Christmas time when she was visiting. Yeah. So it's probably around a little at the beginning of the next year. So this is like what? This happened on the first day of school, and then by Christmas time, essentially, he's fine.
Then the guy healed his arm way too fast, because that was a complete break.
No, they mentioned it was a fracture.
A fracture? Oh, okay.
They literally said that. Like, I'm not saying I agree with it. I'm saying they said it was a fracture. So
I know teenagers bounce back a lot quicker than most adults, but damn, that was fast.
Just looking from that scene, I thought it was so much worse than just I
did too. I did too.
Hearing that sound effect, that big crack, it felt like I was cracking some crab leg or something like that.
Yeah, I thought it was like severed bone.
Well,
I thought he like bent it at the elbow and it was like dangling and detached or something. Oh, like that's what I thought was going on. But
it sounded nasty, just brutal.
Mm-hmm.
I don't understand that reference, but I imagine it's very funny.
And one more thing to bring up about Miguel and stuff. Like, even though he, like, after he started standing up, I liked how he still struggled trying to kick a frisbee and all that stuff. I thought that was, because it's like, even though you are getting better, you're not completely.
Yes. Yeah.
How do I say? Yeah. I did like that.
Still struggles.
Yeah, exactly.
There's still struggles even once you've reached a point.
Exactly.
Like that was so done. And I kind of thought he was going to have a bit of a lingering injury. That he was going to have to learn how to get around that, and that was going to be a big part of.
You're really cutting out
the
there.
Teaching role. I am.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, a little bit.
That's okay, dude. That's all good. I mean, I got what you were saying though. Wow. But yeah, I mean, overall, I think that was like probably one of the more disappointing things. It's just no one recovers that quickly. Like I think the very tail end is what got me. Yeah, I mean, personally, like it was just.
Yeah, I remember, like freshman year for me, I injured my knee once running, and it took months trying to recover from that. So yeah.
No, I told me I was grounded, and I just kept running.
No, I don't know why I chuckled a little bit. Maybe because your name's Runner.
Not literally grounded, but yeah.
Oh, well, I mean, yeah, I mean, I know it's not easy. Well, how long did it take you to recover?
I can't say for sure. I mean,
was it a sprain, a twist, a bruise, a dislocation?
Because
I couldn't move one morning. I had to go to the hospital.
Oh shit.
You couldn't move the leg or the whole body?
Well, I couldn't move the leg, which means that I couldn't move at all, pretty much, almost.
Right.
I couldn't walk.
Oh wow, that sucks. Jesus.
It was scary, but it got better, but I still couldn't do much at the time.
Right. What the hell, Kai? Just what a horrible human being. Shame. Get one of those silly little bells from Game of Thrones, like shame.
I expected Justin.
No, I'm sorry.
To react like that. I don't care. It was a long time ago.
Oh, okay. Well, at least you can walk now.
What's scaring me?
We've never technically seen you walk, so we don't know.
What's scaring me is
Oh,
Justin
highlight
typing
celebrity
that
Jeremy's comment. That's great.
Celebrity Jeremy, thank you so much for the super chat. He saw the Dark Knight Rises and thought if Batman could do it.
Okay, but he had his back. He had his,
Dang.
Where's my
Here's the thing.
leg? Where's the leg? Sweep the leg.
no, but he had his back broken. That's
I-
different.
I haven't seen the Dark Knight Rises in a very, very long time. Like since
Where's
I
the
think it's been 8 years since I've seen it.
Yeah, talk about a grounded Batman take.
Oh my lord. Yeah.
If your knee was really messed up, Runner, would you'd be called Hopper right now, right?
But I couldn't hop.
Ooh,
I
no.
couldn't walk at all. I would have to
Hop on
crawl
one
if I
foot?
didn't have any crutches. I had to use crutches and shit.
But they never told you what happened.
Well, no, I fell, and
Oh.
I hurt my knee really badly.
What?
What?
Sorry.
Oh, dang.
What's up,
Stop
Subhuman?
How dare you? No.
That's
Oh
fucked
man,
up.
that was really mean.
Should we make a petition though for
No,
Justin?
I don't
Ultra
care. I
Speed?
like Subhuman. He's a good guy.
Yeah, he's a great guy. What were you saying?
I was wondering if we should make a petition for Justin saying season 4 should have wheelchair Miguel.
Oh, stop.
I liked Wheelchair Miguel.
He was bad.
I wanted more Wheelchair Miguel, just a little bit more, bit more. I don't know why. I just found it very entertaining. Not that he was in a wheelchair, but whatever. Nothing
What
that
was
I
the-
say
what was
is
the-
gonna-
what was the-
nothing I say is gonna be
It wasn't the wheelchair part that was you liked. Was it the paralyzed part? Which part did you
well,
like?
you know what? I will be honest. I like the idea that there were consequences.
Okay.
There were consequences, and now they just completely reversed it at the end of the season. And I was just like, I couldn't help myself when he was like walking in school and everything. And he wasn't using a wheelchair. I was just like, no, he should not be walking for a long time. I don't know. That's just, I don't know what it was. Jesus, Kai. He really I'm sorry about that. But no, I don't know what it is, but that's just me personally. Hey, what's up, Tom? How you doing?
Hey,
Hey, Tom.
how's it going?
We are just talking about Miguel's recovery in Cobra Kai season 3. I was making an argument. I wanted to see more wheelchair Miguel, and the fact that consequences, for me personally, should be a little bit more permanent. But at the same time, I'm glad he's recovered. But I just thought it was a little too quick at the end. I don't know. I know we discussed a lot of Cobra Kai season 3. I think like last week, was it?
Yeah, just the other day or whatever. But no,
Yeah.
I agree with you a little bit. It did seem a little rushed or hastened, however you want to put it. And again, like you were right in the time frame pointed out, like since the first season, we've only really gone like 8 months in this. So like it
In this whole series, yeah.
yeah. So like
Lots
other than
happened.
the little minor time jump we had in season 3, but yeah.
Well, Marty McFly showed up.
I mean, yeah, I agree though that time really does fly.
But yeah, I loved the show and I'm looking forward to it. And I agree, like having Miguel in the wheelchair even a little bit longer would have it might have been A, more believable, and B, gave them a little bit more to work with. And I thought it would have been more interesting if they just left the whole season to where he's still in the wheelchair. Like, I mean, he maybe can make some improvements, but I just felt like, yeah, it was something they could have really used going into like the next season even. But it is what it is. I have very minor complaints with the show.
Couldn't they still do that though? That the injury is not as healed as they thought, and it could make him not as
physically able as he was before? Could they have something happen like that in the next
Yeah,
season?
but they've already kind of
Yeah.
done that, so it'd feel like they were milking it. Maybe, I don't know. It depends on how they handled it.
Yeah, and I understand what you're saying, Paulie. I just, yeah, I know it's TV. Yeah, but that's oversimplifying it. We have to look at the rules of the universe, and I guess teenagers just recover faster than like I don't
All
know.
that ADHD and Ritalin makes them all
But,
feel
but,
faster.
but here's the thing: like Cobra Kai has never like jumped the shark, and never has done something that was like completely unrealistic, as far as, or at least the movies haven't, unless like you're talking about like characters who act ridiculous because it's supposed to be campy.
Has Mary seen it?
Has Mary seen what?
Cobra Kai, because you haven't said a word since I've been watching. So.
I'm sorry.
No, Mary said more than I
I
have.
will be quiet to keep my.
No,
I'm such a toxic white male. I need to.
Wait, you're white?
No, I was just
for a
curious. I
moment.
didn't come in until a little bit ago here, so I missed the whole like first 45 minutes of the show. But
Well, I mean, I try to be cognizant of the fact that it's a relatively large panel, and so I tend to speak when pointed at. So,
I just wanted to make sure everybody here who had seen it before we got any spoilers, and you had been
well,
quiet.
yeah, we talked
so.
about it on Monday, so I'll remember.
Oh, that's right. Hey,
Yeah, I love that part.
Wow.
There's this thing that
Okay,
everybody
I-
else does
Right.
that I don't, called sleep.
I was,
That-
like, didn't you guys talk about this Monday?
People forget that I don't sleep.
That's true. That's true, Tom. You got to.
We don't have time for sleep.
Would you like to
By
borrow my
the way,
power? Great
before we get into that, though, I just want to point out Lance Salato says, I broke my back in football senior year. Let me tell you, I wish I had a Johnny there for me. It's 10 years later, and I finally found the motivation to get up and move, even if I don't succeed. Dude, good for you, man. That's amazing. And that's exactly what I'm talking about. Because, yeah, I think maybe, maybe Johnny. Yeah, Johnny definitely helped Miguel, like in those circumstances. But that's Johnny is a better motivator than people give him credit for. Really, like his methods are very how would you say
Juvenile.
What? No.
Juvenile. Well,
No,
lighting a shoelace on fire, using a porno mag, that's pretty juvenile.
I would say unconventional.
I
but-
would call it a mix of the two. It is
Yeah.
juvenile, but then again, look at who we're dealing with here.
Oh, yeah.
You know,
Sure.
Fair enough. Very true. Very true. Well,
Injury never goes away. I can agree with that because my spine has a herniation from a car accident, and it can never be operated on because it will paralyze me from the legs down. So I get what he's saying. They are always there. That's why I brought that thing up with the season 4 possibility. If Miguel gets hit in the same area where he was injured even once very badly, it could trigger something worse. So they do have that door open, even if it seems like a replayed door they might not use.
Right. I think we were going to get to Mary about some. Tom, I forgot what you had asked Mary about, but yeah,
Well,
everyone
I
has.
couldn't remember if she saw the show or not, and then I was like, duh, yeah, we talked about it.
Oh yeah, but I didn't know that she hadn't talked in 45 minutes.
That's not true.
Oh, I said I
Yeah.
missed the first 45 minutes. I said,
Oh,
well,
okay.
I watched it for like the last 20 or whatever, yeah.
This is the TV
Oh, okay.
universe, Tom. It don't matter here.
By the way, I just wanted to ask, since we've talked about Miguel for quite a bit now, and we're going to be wrapping up in about a half hour or so. Yeah, and by the way, thank you everybody who's in the chat right now. We got a lot of people watching, and everyone's on the panel. You guys are awesome. Celebrity Jeremy says Karate Kid has always been about mind over matter, healing, so it kind of works within its own universe. I guess, but
Yeah, but I also get where Justin's coming from, and where like it would be interesting to play out the scenario of where there are consequences to this shit.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
I mean, there
Yeah,
should
he
be.
needs he needs a lingering injury just to show that it life isn't always easy, and how do you overcome that obstacle?
Wheelchair.
Because that could be a huge moment for everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Like just
Right.
learning how to deal with some new issue that's going to affect you. Like how do you get over that, and how does it demotivate you, and what do you do to push that from your mind?
I get what you're saying. Because the first step is will I ever walk again? B, will I ever be fully mobile again? And C, what do I do if I can't do that? That kind of brings a lot of that mindset into a deeper rut.
Yeah, because people often fall into a rut, and there's a huge process where they need to get motivated again and find new things to enjoy because they can't quite do the same things they used to.
Well, yeah, exactly. That's the same way what's going on with pop culture. We're all trying to find new things to enjoy by overcoming what we used to love being destroyed one turd at a time. I'm sorry, it's really hard to take me serious with the Uganda knuckles. I'm so
Do you know the way?
Do you know the way? My queen.
Uganda Knuckles, that meme was so underrated. Love it.
Okay, and am I sounding
A lot
better
of people
now?
don't like it.
You're still crackly, but not too bad.
Really? Oh, I don't know what's going on.
It's not,
We
it's
can
not
at least
that bad.
understand you.
It's not that bad in my end.
We can at least understand you, yeah.
Yeah.
Can you do it in sign language?
I mean, even having Miguel still dealing with that in the next season could have been like that. Could have been a bonding experience for something to bring Daniel and Johnny together, in a sense that okay, like Johnny's methods aren't working, but then like once they cross back over here, like maybe Daniel's like, look, there's spiritual things, there's things a lot like
physical. Do you mean the hands?
There's other things that Miyagi showed him that may help, and I mean, and I'm not expecting like Daniel to work miracles, but it could almost be like a physical therapy thing on the Miyagi-Do side of things, as opposed to Johnny's just like get up and do it. You know what I mean? It's like
but Tom, at the same time, they could also use that, but make the relationship between Miguel's mother and Johnny stronger because he is trying to be the better father figure as well as own up to his mistakes for why Miguel ended up there. So it has two possible roads to go down.
Yeah, and we're already seeing the latter one kind of already play out.
Yeah.
So I mean, yeah.
Yeah, the interesting thing should be how they show the two sides of the same coin. Johnny and Daniel. They're both the same. They're different sides of and show different ways of approaching. But you kind of need them both, and they both forgot about that. So it led them into these situations.
But Yeti, Ali summed it up pretty well at the country club. There's three sides to a story: yours, and the truth. And right then and there, it showed that these two it made sense. They're both the same, but they're both coming from different points of view of the same story.
Yeah.
So they're both also the villain as well as the hero, depending on how they're looking at it. And I think that was one lesson that got to them in a way that is making them see we're just as bad as our kids we're trying to train.
Yeah, and they're incomplete. They're incomplete with the other side.
Yin and yang, like we said earlier, yeah.
And I'm really interested on how that's going to play out in the next season. Because I hope they don't just keep repeating.
You know what? That's very interesting. You mentioned the yin and yang. I think that's exactly what we're seeing, the yin and yang in process with we're going to see it in season 4, I'm guessing, with Daniel and Johnny for sure. For sure. I think that's the whole point of maybe that's the whole point of this series is that both Miyagi-Do and at least Johnny's Cobra Kai, or his version of it. Jesus, who's buzzing in the background?
I don't think that's me.
Not me.
That's
It
weird.
looks like it's coming from Runner's side.
Is it?
Me?
Yeah,
But
I don't know what that was.
do you guys think that Hilary Swank, like you remember the next Karate Kid, do you think they're going to use her character, or maybe she's going to have a kid of her own that's going to pop up on the scene?
They have said that it's open season, for anybody really. Like it's all up in the air.
I still haven't seen that movie yet.
Well, here's the thing we got to remember, and people have brought up different scenarios of this thing. Like, obviously, Kreese is calling in some reinforcements. We got a pretty good idea who it is.
Yeah.
And if he calls in more than just Silver, it means he's also calling in Mike Barnes. That means they're going to need a little more reinforcement on the other side, on Cobra Kai / or the Miyagi-Do side of things. So my guess is that somebody also brought up, I didn't think of this, but bringing Chosen back, which is a good possibility. Or that's where Julie comes into the picture. It could very well be. And there's other ways they could bring her in as well. And that's what I love about this show is no matter how we predict these things, they always find a way to go above and beyond what we could have possibly predicted without subverting our expectations like Ryan Johnson.
Yeah.
I just hope he doesn't.
Don't say that.
It always comes back to the Last Jedi every time.
Don't ever say that name.
That's because this is what the Star Wars sequels should have fucking been, folks.
Oh no, I
agree.
I completely agree. Though
I agree. Just don't say Ryan. Just don't say Ryan.
It's not like it's Bloody Mary or anything like that.
No, it's true. It is like Bloody Mary.
5 times.
If you walk into your bathroom,
sorry, Mary, we're not talking about you.
I know. I can tell.
If you walk into your bathroom and turn off the lights and shut the door and say Ryan Johnson 3 times, not only will a script appear in front of you, you will also get a contract to Star Wars.
I would be okay with that if I made a decent amount of money, but I don't know how I would do afterwards. Honestly, I don't even know if I would want to be involved in that.
I'm fine with people hating me for that amount of money.
Is that a macroaggression?
It would. It must be depending on the paycheck size. But I mean, look. Let's just be honest. If anybody here were, to, be approached, say like, "Hey, do you want to do this? Anything, Star Wars, related? Like, hey, do you want to be involved in this?" Who would say? I mean, would you guys say no to that? I mean, I don't know. I can just say that it would be great either way. I'd be fine with it. Why not? That's just me though. Celebrity Jeremy says, thank you for the super chat again. Season 4 of Cobra Kai Endgame. Yeah, we were just saying that earlier. It feels like, if you had oh my God, why?
No, you know what? I
have a turn.
Why? No.
Justin, can I comment? Can I comment on that real quick?
No. Yeah, sure.
Okay, so I think season 4 will probably be somewhat like maybe like the Infinity War, and then around the last season it will be Endgame. I don't know. I'm not gonna say it's completely like Endgame. I think hopefully it's better than Endgame.
Chosen back, they bring back all of the old characters.
Yeah, they bring back
Julie,
all these characters.
They bring back Julie. They bring back Mike Barnes. They bring back Terry Silver, and they're and everyone, the new cast and the old cast, all fight together. Like I don't know. I don't know. Like it'll seem a little too silly for me. It would be great. I would accept it if it came naturally. What are they going to do? All fight in a parking lot or something?
No. Not a parking lot. Maybe just a big. I don't know. Some. Like an open area, pretty much.
Justin, what's going to happen is it's all going to be on a beach, like where the radio first got smashed, and Force Ghost Miyagi will show up with his chopsticks and a fly, Force Ghost fly, mind you, and it will bust down into karate fighting everywhere.
No, they're just going to fight in an Applebee's.
Oh, come on, not an Applebee's. I like their cheesecake.
We have literally watched 2 seasons now where at the end we've seen all-out brawls with kids. But yet you're going to sit there and say it's a little unrealistic to see the adults who have started this whole fucking thing get into it. I don't know.
Wouldn't that? Okay, This is I know, Mary, you got to go in a second, but I wanted to pose the question to you first. What do you think is going to happen in season 4?
Oh, I think I think the most blatantly obvious thing is that we're going to have a lot of conflict between Johnny and Daniel, right? And I'm looking forward to that immensely. And I honestly, we kind of talked about this a little bit on Monday. I think Robbie's going to die.
You think he's going to die?
I do. I think he's going to die.
I thought someone was going to die in this in the season 3 finale. I was actually getting worried because of what happened the first time with Miguel.
I don't think they'll go to that extreme.
I kind of hope they do. I think Robbie has put himself in a position with Kreese where he's going to find himself in with someone who is abusive and will use his life as collateral damage. All right, Kreese will be happy to do that. And you have Daniel and Johnny who are going to have to try to come to terms with that, his real father and his adopted father, right? And I think that's the thing that cinches and brings everyone together to take Kreese down. That's just, like, I could be wrong. I'm spitballing here, but I think if you want to take the show into a dramatic turn, which they've already proven they're willing to do with Miguel being, paralyzed there for a bit, I think Robbie's gonna die.
They did push the envelope with season 2. I don't see that happening. I don't even know if like what is Kreese dying? Like I don't even see that happening.
What I think might happen is I think Allie, if she does decide to play a more important role and does actually become the love favorite of Johnny, is that she's going to have a one-on-one with Robbie, and it's either going to make him become more of the villain, or he's going to change his ways to a certain point and give his dad another chance when she starts explaining what he was actually like. That's just an opinion.
Okay, so this is what I think is going to happen. It's at the tournament. It's going to come down to Kreese and Miguel. So one of Kreese's students, they're going to pull some dirty trick, probably aiming for his back. That's going to put him down. It's going to be illegal, and that's going to trigger a full-up brawl from the adults. They're going to jump up and start fighting.
That's something that I think would be very interesting. There's always a big fight at the very end. The house fight, this season, the school fight this season. What about an all-out brawl in the All Valley?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Right there, it's like triggered from something Kreese pushes his student to do to like permanently injure or.
I think it'd be stupid if all the audience fought, but definitely like all the kids.
The only problem you have with that is that one of the kids is hurt, and most of the adults' attention are going to be on the kid at that point.
Mm-hmm.
But that's why I thought it was going to be Miguel, and so you'll have Daniel and Johnny jump up to go help him, to like rescue him, and end up going straight after Kreese and whatever that lackey is that's going to be is on his side, and so be a 2-on-2 for the adults.
I think Miguel's grandmother is probably going to be the one that might pass, because she might be a secondary character, but she's not a character that's strong enough except for pushing Johnny in little scenes. I think she was probably going to be the one to go. It's going to be from natural causes or something's going to happen that might be Kreese related.
And the one thing that speaking of that, Mary, I know you got to go, so I only got one more question for you. What do you think Miguel is gonna say to Johnny when he finds out that he's fucking his mom? Let's just be honest here.
I think you're going to have a blow up. I think you're going to have a big blow up. I think it's going to be relatively short lived, and that Miguel will come to terms with it.
Fair enough. I mean, I think we're looking at. Maybe he's going to actually be a stepfather. That's a very big possibility. I know that Johnny and Allie were this close to kissing in that one episode. Mm-hmm. So
they didn't.
I'm glad they didn't.
I would have been like, no.
No, I know. I would have been like, I hope they don't do it.
Can you imagine being
in a way? I kind of wish that they did. Because
I don't. Allie has served her purpose, and if you do that to Johnny's character, it will make him look like a complete jerk.
Yep,
mm-hmm.
absolutely.
Yeah.
That's true. I mean, maybe for the sake of conflict, it would have worked, but okay.
The conflict is going to come from Miguel's dad. We don't know who his dad is yet, and everybody's got like all this. Yeah. Oh, it's Mike Barnes. No, it's not Terry Silver. No. It's not Mike Barnes.
No,
that is going to come later down the road. It's going to come later down the road when all this other stuff is settled. That's where they're going to have more places for this show to go. You introduce this guy who all they've said about him is that he's a bad dude.
Yep.
That's all we know. So he comes back into the picture. You've got a lot of scenarios for a lot of different things. You got Miguel, who's going to be torn. He's got his real father back in his life. But, Johnny and his mother and everybody know this guy's bad news. And, you have that push and pull. And then you also have what if the mother, what if she kind of decides, well, wait a minute, I'll give him a second chance. Well, that puts Johnny out. Like there, you put yourself in a love triangle without having to bring Allie into the mix or making Johnny the bad guy in the mix. But yet it has more of a sense for the mother to kind of to be torn because she hasn't exactly gotten too involved with Johnny yet. And also this is the father of her child. Right. So, I mean, there's more to it than that. Like Allie's whole purpose was for one thing and one thing only. To get Daniel and and Johnny to work together, and B, so that Johnny could get rid of this thing that he has had built up in his head for 35 years about who this woman is.
Mm-hmm.
Right. That was what that episode did, was it humanized her. Because he's seen her as, you know, the pom-pom wielding prom queen / you know, the woman I was supposed to marry, ... right? Because we saw him for an entire season be obsessed with sending one fucking message, right? Like, so that's what it is. He is so obsessed with Allie that was like his unicorn. Like, and then when he saw that, no, she's not perfect. She's just like us. She's just like everybody else at our age. She's done her things. She's in the middle of a divorce. She's, you know, all these other things. Like, she's not this perfect person. Like, that's what he pretty much says it to her. If you remember, he's like, "Oh, I thought you would have had all your stuff together," and blah blah blah. She's like, "Well, except I'm in the middle of a divorce, and I love my
liked
job."
when they said that, because I'm like, come on, there needs to be some kind of thing to come out of left field to basically blow up the perfect image that he has of her. Just like, yeah, I'm going.
That's all it was. That's
and
really
I'm very glad that this, you know, what made me so unhappy when I first tried to watch, and I say tried to watch Karate Kid Part 2, I hated it. And I hated it because at the very beginning, they're just like, oh, Allie just wrecked the car and shit like that. I'm like, wow, they just threw her character under the bus.
But they cleared that up, though.
And I know, at that point, I was like, okay, now they're going to go to Japan. I'm like, I'm not interested in this. No. And then I actually rewatched it, and I was like, yeah, they still did her character dirty. But I'm so glad they made up
I have
for
to
that.
interject, Justin, because if you remember in the third season, they actually cleared it up, and Allie actually
Yes,
goes,
that's
"I
what I'm
didn't tell you
saying.
that BS about that car, did you?
Yeah,
The brakes were failing."
the breaks. Yeah. That's why I was so glad. I was like, it's so distracting that you have fucking Squidward up. No, you're totally right. Mary, I know you got to get going, so if you'd like to opt out, you know, feel free to.
Sorry, yeah, I have sprayers coming in the morning, and I have to get some stuff done before stream tonight. So, but I appreciate
Let's see what you got going on.
Hi guys, I am Mary B, Mistress of Mayhem, disruptor of the narrative, and official Wham and card holder. You can find me over my channel, Mary Mayhem, where I talk about newsy news stuff during the week, and on the weekends I have a little bit of fun. And Cobra Kai never dies.
Any last thing that you want to say about it before you get going?
Watch the show. Watch the show. You'll be doing yourself a favor. It's worthy. It's completely worthy of your time, and I don't say that about many things these days.
Yeah, because you know there's only so much time that we have, so why not spend it wisely?
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Mary, my YouTube bestie. Thank you so much. By the way, I like the little picture you have there. It's really
Thank
nice.
you. Yeah, it's my Mary Mayhem. Yeah.
And I'm looking forward to you completing the thing that you showed us earlier.
I'll send it to you. I'll send it to you.
Awesome. All right, take care, Mary.
All right, bye guys.
Bye.
Be
Right.
Mary too hard.
Bye.
Bye.
So I'd like to pose the question off to everyone else. I know Tom, you talked about it a little bit, but I really want to know like where do they go from here? Where does Cobra Kai go? What are the for me there are only like a couple threads that I could possibly see. As Tom, as you said, Terry Silver and Mike Barnes for sure. Maybe they'll have people from the next Karate Kid like Julie come back, or what was the one dude's name? I know I know Star Wars Theory interviewed him. It was Michael. No. The main bad guy from the next Karate Kid, like the Italian dude.
I can't.
I really liked his interview with Star Wars Theory.
I know what you're talking about. Yeah.
Yeah. He's such a nice. I don't know, like characters like that. I mean, what do you like? They've already brought back so many old characters. Like, how many more are they gonna do?
Well, that's the thing is you've pretty much there's not many left, and Julie has connections with the characters you mentioned, some of the characters you mentioned, but he doesn't. So there's no real reason to bring anybody but her back. Like, there's no even real reason to bring back the girl from Part 3 because she really served no purpose whatsoever.
She basically shut him down. He was like kind of flirting a little bit. He's like, "Oh, I have a boyfriend in like Ohio, actually." Like, he's like,
I mean,
okay.
she's there for some reasons, but that like to explain what happened during Karate Kid 3 would take a while. But basically, she was originally meant to be the love interest. The story at the time going around was that Ralph Macchio got sick and tired of every movie supposedly having a new girlfriend. And then the rumor on the other end was that Ralph Macchio's new wife wasn't too keen on it, so that's why he tried to nix it. But I've been hearing lately the real reason was, and I believe this, is that because What's-Her-Face, who played Jessica, was only 16 fucking years old at the time.
Oh.
Yeah, so like, and he was 27. So
No.
I'm thinking he more or less said, you know, if you insist on having this actress, then no. And I can't remember the actress's name, but at the time she was kind of up and coming. She was just in like Teen Witch and a couple other things. I can't think of her actual name, but I mean, she was a good actress. There's nothing, but I didn't realize she was even that young in that movie.
That's
recently.
not okay.
That would not go over well.
No. No, it's one thing if you're like, 19 or whatever.
That's she's even playing like 19 or whatever in the movie, because her and Daniel are supposed to be like 18, 19 years old now or whatever.
That's something I did not know. I thought she was older.
She's even playing almost like college age, it seems like. Yeah.
I thought they were in college, but then they go to the All Valley again. I'm like, oh. Huh.
He's technically still under 18 or whatever, supposedly. I think it's because part 3 takes place a year. It's only a year since the first film. They're in Okinawa for 6 months.
Isn't Daniel a senior?
They're in Okinawa for 6 months.
Yep.
How does he he must have been held back in school or something?
He was out of school already.
He graduated?
Yeah.
He graduated at 16 or something?
No. He was 17.
No. So how did he enter the under 17 All Valley?
He was still 17. I was still 17 when I graduated. He must have been born in June the thing is, in the original movie,
he skipped the grade. Huh.
He just must have as long as there might have been like a rule to where it's like if you're 18 within that year, maybe, or something like that. It's hard to say, but I'm sure it's just some finagle rule they fucked around with. But no, there's literally only like a year in between the first movie and the last one.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Huh.
I just hope
kind of where it kind of parallels the whole time jump in this show too is kind of funny.
Yeah, I just hope they don't bring back the villain from the third, like the guy who really owns Cobra Kai. That would break
Terry Silver.
Terry Silver. That's the one.
You're the only person I've heard say that. Like everybody loves Terry Silver.
Yeah, I would love Terry Silver to come back.
Yeah, he has kind of the same facial features as Miguel. A lot of people are thinking he's the dad.
No.
Yeah, you see,
I'm not saying it's possible.
I like when I saw part 2 and
Terry already
3 of
has a
Cobra
kid.
Kai. I like Terry Silver more than Chosen. That's just me, though.
Yeah, Chosen's a different kind of villain to me.
Nah, I know, but Chosen's just a dick, but like Terry Silver, he's a fun villain.
Yeah, he relishes in it as opposed to Chosen, who's just more or less just out for blood.
Exactly.
Right.
But no, like even Terry has a kid already. His kid's in part 3. Snake's his son. So I don't think he's going to have any more kids at that age. But I could be wrong, because we got to remember, even though Terry Silver, he is the real guy, was Thomas Ian Griffith was young, and he's playing like way older than he really is. He was actually younger than Ralph Macchio in that movie. But he's supposed to be the same. Yeah, he's supposed to be the same age as fucking Kreese, but yet he's in reality he was actually a few months younger than Ralph Macchio. Believe it or not. Well, you gotta Proper. You weren't old enough to remember, but like you gotta remember at the time when
I wasn't alive.
When Karate Kid 3 came out, the biggest joke that everybody, of course, jumped to was like the fact that he was like 30 years old and still in the Karate Kid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Is that why a lot of people? Well, there's probably a lot of reasons why people didn't like Karate Kid Part 3. I even remember
one of the many. Yes, but I love the film, but yeah.
I think I would even argue that it's better than Part 2.
That I won't agree with, but I will say to me it's like The Godfather Part 3. You've got 2 perfect films back to back, then you got a third film which is good, It's just not as good as the other two.
I even heard, Ralph Macchio, like one of the first, interviews I ever saw. Like I, thought that, oh, no one ages ever, right? No, I was wrong. Then I saw that, like, I think it was like over 15 years ago, Ralph Macchio was on a talk show, and he basically said, like, oh yeah, this is what my kids think about the Karate Kid trilogy. Karate Kid Part 1, Karate Kid Part 2, Karate Kid Part 3. And I never understood why. I don't get it.
I don't know. Part 2, for some reason, at the time when it came out, I felt it got unnecessarily dumped on, even though like Gene Siskel liked it and a few other people did. But I don't know. The third film got really dumped on.
I didn't really like the third one. The second one, I can kind of take or leave. But the second one, I have a particular affinity for, just because, oh my gosh, Pat Morita's love interest. She looked exactly like my grandmother. So that had nostalgic quality to me. Yeah.
I thought
wait, so okay.
I was gonna say I thought part 2 was decent. And 3 was all right. I didn't exactly like it as much as the last two, but it was all right. I thought part 3 got better once the All Valley tournament came up at the end.
One thing that I was very disappointed in was there is a huge difference between I don't know if any of you saw it, but there was this audition that I think it was John Avildsen's son had auditioned for the movie. Have you seen it, Snake?
I haven't seen I've seen bits of it, but I haven't seen the entire audition. But I've heard people talk about it, so it must be out there.
Oh no, it's unlisted now, and I have it.
Yeah, send it to me then, because I haven't seen it.
Yeah, send it to me too.
You know what? Give me just a second.
You don't have to do it right.
Well, yeah, I know it has nothing to do with really Cobra Kai necessarily, but let me just tell you, like the line delivery between him there and what we got in the actual movie, huge difference. Like he's actually intimidating in the audition, where he's like he says if I recall a few lines, when they said like, "Hey, we're not open." Oh, the door was. We're not open for business. Well, I didn't come here for business. The line delivery was so serious in the audition, but if you see in the actual movie, they're like, "Oh, we didn't come here for business." I'm like, "Oh my God, what happened? You were intimidating the first time. What is going on?"
See, yeah, that's all I remember of that third. It's just being very silly.
What
like,
you had?
Why are you doing this?
Well, you guys got to understand what we almost got instead of that. Like, this is one of the few times where I actually agree with the studio mingling, because Mark came in the writer and Al
he wrote all three, didn't he? Right?
Yeah, and they wanted to go a completely different direction. First, they wanted to bring in a girl Karate Kid. And then what they wanted to do was have it be a time travel movie where Miyagi and Daniel would time travel back in time to meet the original Miyagi who brought karate over. And it would have been in the vein of, I shit you not, it would have been in the vein of Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon with all kinds of flying kung fu effects.
Oh, hell no.
Wait, Tom, I have a
wish
question.
we saw that.
Would they run into it at
No,
any point, the
you're
turtles
not.
in
You're
time?
not telling
And
the
it would have been
truth.
this fever. No, I'm serious. And it would have been
There's
this
no
like,
way.
and they would have been sent back via this fever dream of the chick, of the girl Karate Kid. Yeah, she was going to go back with them, I believe, too. Was the plan? But
So
like,
glad that
it would have been
Oh.
Daniel and this new Karate Kid girl, and
No,
yeah,
Did they hit on by his
exactly.
mother?
there's no fucking way. No.
I
Yeah.
honestly can't comment on that. What the fuck?
I know, it was a whole lot of what the fuck. So then, no, the studio's like, no, we want something that's a direct sequel and in the vein of the original film. Just do that. So under reluctance, that's why we got that film. And then Terry Silver wasn't even supposed to be in the movie. All that was Kreese. But Martin Kove was actually working on a TV show at the time, so he only had like a week or two to shoot. So that's why he's only in the beginning and the end. And he gets sent to whatever it is, Tahiti or whatever it is.
Wait.
How would they get back in time? Would Mr. Miyagi like rub his hands real fast?
I have
until
no
a portal
fucking clue,
open?
dude.
This
I
is
have
a trick
no.
with my
You
family.
got to
That's
remember
all.
that this is all, the year the Karate Kid cartoon came out was the same year that movie did. So I don't know who influenced that. And there's a weird kind of like side story in that. Like that's the whole point of the cartoon is like Johnny Quest. It's about this fucking idol from Okinawa that gets stolen, and Daniel and Daniel, some other girl that's not Kumiko, and Mr. Miyagi spend every episode trying to get the idol from a bad guy.
So
Why does it
basically,
sound like
Ninja
Jackie
Turtles
Chan
3.
Adventures? Why does it sound like Jackie Chan Adventures?
It's very similar. Yeah, it's the same kind of shit. Like a
You
Johnny
make the
Quest.
medallion,
Yeah.
and you will go through time to learn chopsticks. All right.
So
Was
who's
Jackie Chan Adventures was a real show?
Yeah,
It was one of the
Yeah.
best cartoons, bro. It was so
It was
good.
freaking
It was
awesome.
bad. Every episode they had to find a new.
So who's to say that their idea didn't get transferred over into that cartoon? I have no idea. Maybe that's why the cartoon is like that. I don't know. But yeah, like that was the original idea, and then it changed even more as we got along because, like I said, the whole Daniel relationship thing got changed.
Oh boy!
It'd be
No, that was
Karate
a
Kid
bullet that they just dodged.
So then
didn't they?
after that, when they came to the next Karate Kid, Sony came to because Sony had bought Columbia Pictures in the process of all that. They went to Avildsen and came in and said, "All right, we want to do a girl Karate Kid," and they're like, "Fuck you, we're out." That's exactly what happened.
So you're telling me that somewhere in Mr. Miyagi's house there is a bonsai tree of time travel?
Maybe. I don't know.
You have to cut the right branches down your son.
I'm glad we didn't get that other movie, but then I totally understand why Avildsen and Kamen are like,
That's
"Fuck
like
you, we tried to get to a female one, and you said no."
That's like Surf Ninja's bad.
Yeah, that sounds a lot like Ninja Turtles 3.
Yeah, I was just gonna say
It's not- that movie was
like Ninja
horrible.
Turtles 3, basically.
I
Yeah.
couldn't
Oh,
finish
Green
Ninja
Demon.
Turtles
Exact
3.
plot.
Hey, buddy.
You described
I'm,
the plot.
I'm still baffled by all of this. Super terrible.
Lexon.
The
Really
only
bad.
other idea that I heard they were working on, they wanted to do, but studio turned down, was a Miyagi prequel. which
No,
would be okay, maybe. But then otherwise was that whole, I guess there was that Miyagi Johnny Lawrence movie that got pretty close to possibly getting made, but then the
a
remake happened.
Miyagi Johnny Lawrence
You
movie.
didn't hear about that one?
Why?
I'm here
Um,
to train you.
What it was it was supposed to be about Miyagi and he's like really sick and in the hospital, and Johnny Lawrence ends up being the doctor.
Oh,
takes
that's right. You told this story yesterday.
yeah, it was like I guess it was something that Pat Morita had come up with, and I think it got so far at the studio. I think William Zabka was talking about it in the interview, and it just didn't go nowhere. And then of course the remake happened in the process. So
Oh god,
and, Pat Morita died, of course, as well. But yeah,
Look, yeah. Actually, you know what? It's very funny. That's I mean, it's not funny, but it's very interesting. When Pat Morita passed away, I was actually taking karate lessons at the time, and that's I had never seen the Karate Kid before. And it's so weird that is one of the few things that I have a vivid memory of during that time is when that happened, because it was such a big deal. And I would just happen to be taking karate lessons. I didn't even know what the Karate Kid was. Just thought oh, that'd be fun to do. But then I watched the movies and I'd realize how much of a significant impact he had. He was the movies. It wasn't Daniel LaRusso. It wasn't John. It wasn't Kreese. It was nobody. It was Miyagi.
well, that's why what does work in Part 4 does work is because of him. Period.
I mean, the parts that do work.
Yeah, exactly.
And
even
yeah.
though what's her face is a more than decent actress, it's not the point.
She's a great actress.
Hilary
Didn't
Swank.
she didn't she win an Oscar or
No,
at
she's won
least get
2.
nominated? Oh, okay. Yeah, she's not terrible.
No. It's just that, and her character's interesting. It's just the third act falls to pieces.
Yeah,
And at the time when the movie came out, this idea of a militaristic hall monitor thing was whatever. Nowadays, it's a little bit more realistic, but I mean,
if they were, you know
villain
what,
of-
I would say that if they were I don't know, more like a woke. I guess it would
They kind of
be
are
more
like the
cheerful.
PC guy from South Park. Remember that PC principal guy? Like that's
Oh,
kind
wow.
of like all those guys are really.
Seriously, that's something that I found. Once again, this series continues to be like definitely not woke. I think everyone can agree that if anything, it has a slight anti-woke narrative. Like if you see, for example, I had a couple examples that I wrote down. One was there was an argument about the word manholes for some reason. I don't know if you remember that. And they were like, "No, you can't say that."
We're getting to ridiculous notes there. Yeah.
I know it's very minute. But there was a couple of things like hugs, not hits. Like,
that was freaking funny.
Oh yeah, there was a few things. Oh, if you're talking about the show, yeah.
I am talking about the show. Yeah, they had an argument about manholes in the show. Like, why is this bad?
And then I liked how like Hawk, obviously learning from Kreese how to use that kind of a thing to his advantage to get out of trouble.
Yeah,
And
And
everybody's in
people
town
do
hall.
that all the
Microaggression.
time. They
Yeah.
do it all the time. This is how when we talk about some of these SJWs are actually real bullies in real life. They try to be, they give off this vibe of, oh, we're so righteous and we are on the right side of history and we whatever bullshit.
You know what's funny you
they
bring that up though,
talk out
Justin?
of their ass.
Is I think that's one of the reasons why a lot of the critics this season didn't like it.
I don't think as many of them hated it. I don't think.
I've seen a lot of bad takes on the critiques. Like they really it's like they're trying to nitpick on shit, and I think it really stems more from what we're talking about right now, is that it doesn't bend the knee to the wokeness.
Yeah.
And
Well, they already did that. They did that earlier, and I think the first season still has 100%.
Hey, Tom, can I ask a question?
Huh?
yeah, you can, I don't know if I have an answer.
You don't have to answer if you don't want to. It's okay. But do you think there's any slight possibilities that Miguel's dad might be actually Michael Ironside's character from the next Karate Kid?
No.
He's too
You
old.
don't, or maybe his offspring. Do you know what I mean, though? Because
Here's the
that's still
thing:
one
is I
that
think that the makers of this show are smart enough to know that us as fans are trying to leap to make these conclusions. Because I think we saw that on display, specifically in this third season with the whole setup of Allie. Because all we knew about her going into the season is that she's a doctor, right? And they kept talking about this super doctor that was supposed to come help Miguel, right? So
Yeah.
I know me and a lot of other people assumed that's how they were going to bring her in. And then they almost kind of faked us out because they show the doctor from like some really quick distant angle. And
That's
it's like,
what I said earlier.
is that Allie?
Yeah, we were talking about that
You're like,
earlier.
Yeah. And you're like, okay, so they got us there. And then there's the whole Terry Silver thing in the flashbacks where you the whole time you're sitting there thinking, oh yeah, that ponytail guy, that's got to be Terry Silver. And then you realize after he gets plugged that Terry's the guy that freaks out because I guess somebody else pointed this out to me, and it's in there. The commanding officer is like, Silver, calm yourself or whatever it is, or keep your composure or something like that. He says, but yes, he actually calls him Silver, so it is Terry Silver. We have that is confirmed. So like, yeah, we've got, I don't think that they would go to that extreme. I really do think like Miguel's dad is going to be somebody that we don't know, never met, going to be somebody set up for future, adversary for Johnny. And
It's
then,
going to be a new character. I mean,
yeah, that's what I think. I don't think it's. I think
it'll be a wheelchair transformer.
I think it'd be too
No.
easy to make it somebody like Mike Barnes or Terry Silver or anybody like that or anybody from. Yeah,
No.
maybe Hillary. Well, that's the other thing is people are thinking Hillary Swank is Tori's mom. I'm like, yeah, that's a little easy too. And like, but everybody's like, well, yeah, but they won't show her.
Well, like, is everybody in this damn universe related? Like, no.
That's what I'm saying. Like, you can't. You start boxing yourself in then. And I think the reason they won't show us Tori's mom is mainly either because they're trying to show like a disconnect between Tori and her mother. I think that's more of what it is, like an artistic kind of thing. Like she's kind of trying to disconnect herself from this whole thing that's going on with her mom. Otherwise, I don't really feel like there's any major surprise to be had there. I mean, because if it's Julie, what purpose does that serve?
That serves nothing but fan service, and it doesn't even make sense because
Exactly, and that's
Julie.
nothing
I think Julie would be a better mother than that. In all honesty, Tori is. I was saying earlier, like I think this might be the show doing its job, but it's also just
I have
don't
too
like
much
it.
faith in the creators. Like, they have not done us wrong yet. Like, the most hokiest thing they have done is made the girl that he saved in the end of part 2, the head of sales at that one company. I can
100%.
that I can
But I
forgive.
even told you. I think I told you on your stream. I'm like, I'm gonna give this. This is your pass. You get a pass for this one because you've been these guys have been so good and so brilliant lately, and I mean they've consistently been great.
And
I'll give that one a pass.
Daniel have met that girl before, because he's literally running a dealership, an international one, so he should be dealing
That's the
with
question
that
I
girl.
had.
It might not even be Daniel, though. You can also think maybe his wife ran into her. Maybe someone else ran into her.
Or they had
That's
some
how
kind of
she was
liaison or something. I have no idea.
Yeah.
They should
Because
have
that
done a
seems
better
like
way
the
of.
relationship. Like,
Well, they should have made it something better. Like, she was like the daughter-in-law
friend?
of the owner of the company or something like that, to where she wasn't necessarily attached to the company per se, but she obviously has the influence to do
Best
something. That would have been
friend or
yeah,
cousin.
that would have made more sense, as opposed to her being the head of sales. Because then I was like, well, if she's the head of sales, then why wouldn't she have just stopped the deal to begin with? Like LaRusso Auto, obviously she knows who they're dealing with, But yeah, because if it's not her department, then what the fuck,
Yeah. That part kind of drove me a little insane, and it just didn't seem like a good way to go. There's so many different ways they could have done the same thing without going.
Or her
to
husband
that.
worked there or something.
Yeah.
What if she is like one of the like counselors in the juvenile ward for Robbie? We haven't just seen her yet.
You mean Julie?
Yeah.
That's a possibility. Now you're thinking. That's what I'm trying to say. Like, I mean, a lot of these like fan theories of so and so's parents and whatnot. Like, they have not gone to that extreme. So, like, in the way they've utilized bringing people back, I just feel like it's going to be for a good reason. Like the way I brought up, you can bring Julie back is either A, she's just the one who has to come in to kind of, make a bridge between Cobra Kai and Miyagi-Do style, or that's Chosen's job, and then Julie comes in later because, I brought up the scenario that Chosen introduced the idea that, there are ways of killing, or sometimes you have to kill. Mm-hmm. And he subdued Kreese this time, but I don't think Mary's wrong that Robbie's life or somebody's life is going to be put in jeopardy, and somebody's going to have to make a choice, and they can't do what Daniel did this last time, and Kreese is going to have to die. And that's going to affect a lot of people in a lot of ways. And Julie can be utilized there in a lot of different ways because her character, because most people don't even pay attention to the movie, but her character is way different than Daniel in the sense that A, she already knows karate. B, she's aggressive as fuck. Like, I mean, she is a straight up like fucking juvenile when, Mr. Miyagi gets a hold of her.
I almost thought they were going to kill Kreese at the end there.
I think that's what they're setting up.
Yeah. I almost thought that too. The exact same reaction. I thought at the end of that fight somebody was going to die based on what happened in season 2. With Miguel, I was like something's going to happen.
If they didn't have a season 4 coming, I knew something like that was going to happen. But I'm like, I knew once they introduced the ability for him to just subdue his attacker, that was going to be used now. But the other stuff's going to come up at some point. And whether it's the students are too aggressive and Julie needs to help them with the aggressiveness, or whether it's Daniel dealing with the fact that he had to kill Kreese, and what do? I have a feeling Julie's going to be the one to help bring him inner peace. You know what I mean? Because that's what Julie needed. She needed inner peace, and that's what Miyagi brought to her. It wasn't so much the lessons of karate as it was the other stuff in that movie.
But I don't think Kreese will die. I think something will happen in the later episodes that will not only make his health go into a detriment. I don't think it will involve killing, because I don't think they've ever gone down the road of killing with this, and I don't think they will push that.
Like murder. Well,
I mean, like murder.
No, they haven't.
No. Self-defense, I understand.
That's what I'm saying.
Daniel has always learned from Miyagi to honk, not kill.
I know you're right in that, and that's the thing is we've already set that up enough times, but I don't feel like they would have had Chosen say that if that wasn't going to come into effect later.
But he can incapacitate Kreese without.
He can, But that's what I'm saying. We already saw that. We know that. But let's say, for instance, he has Robbie in a headlock and he has a side to his temple. You can't really get to those pressure points. What can you do? You know, you got one shot at possibly taking him out, and if it includes killing him, what can you do? You know,
I thought that was more to set up the pressure points rather than
let's look at
set
it this
up
way.
killing.
Real quick, Lorena, I know you got the Queen's Council coming up real quick.
Yes,
Just one last question, and I'm going to have this at the end of the stream. I'm going to pose this to everybody. I would really be curious as to what you think is going to happen in season 4. And since the creators are they essentially, what they have said is they want to have season 4, 5, and 6. What do you think they're going to do? What kind of conflicts do you think are going to occur?
Well, definitely what's going on with Kreese and his crew and Johnny and Daniel. That's definitely going to have to come to a head in season 4. But I don't think it's all going to be resolved in season 4. I think, again, they're going to leave us hanging. So what else comes from that? I'm not quite sure. At first, I wanted Kreese to die, but now I kind of want him to hang around.
Why'd you want him to die?
It's very simplistic in the beginning. It's kind of like, you know, I'm getting a little
been there, done that vibe.
Exactly. It's kind of like you get the guy, the insurmountable villain, you know, to the point where it's just like we just need to just take him out. He's just.
I think the exception would be when he had that guy's finger in the cigar cutter. What an excellent!
That was pretty.
What an excellent transition to Miguel cutting a hot dog.
Yeah, I like that. That.
But what if Miguel's father, that was claimed to be a very bad person, is the person that takes out Kreese?
That could be too. Well, I've also said it could be Chosen. It could be Johnny.
Yeah.
It could be.
I don't think Chosen would, because
No.
we haven't seen the main villain that could be Miguel.
If they're going to travel across the ocean, it's got to be for a purpose. This is why I don't think Hillary Swank is going to come back unless Mage Grey Wolf said this, which I think is very interesting. They could have just have Julie passing through the to visit Miyagi's grave. I think there's going to be a flashback. Flashback to when Miyagi passes away. Everyone's at the funeral, and Julie and Daniel get to talk, and we'll get to see that.
Could be, but normally when they've brought people back, and this is why I say this, is because normally every time they made sure when they brought somebody back, it was for good reason. Mm-hmm. Like they didn't just waste their character. It wasn't just a walk-on role. It wasn't just to say hi. I mean, outside of maybe Daniel's mother, which even she still served a little bit of purpose in her story, but out of all the returning characters, she's probably done the least.
Yeah,
as far as the story, but yeah.
But I missed her this season. I don't think she was in it.
Before
was she?
No, she was just in the first season, I think.
No, she was in the first two.
Guys, I gotta go.
Okay, yeah.
Gotta go.
Thank you so much for joining us. Make sure to catch her on the Queen's Council.
Yes, and tomorrow at 12 noon, I will have Peter Samedi, the owner of Alterna Comics. He will be on my show at 12 noon tomorrow. Lunch table, along with that.
You have had a lot of great guests on your lunch table.
Yeah. It's been awesome. We got to get you on soon, Justin.
Yeah, sure. I'd be down.
Cool.
100%. I appreciate that.
You got to have me back.
Yes, I do have to have Tom back.
I'm not gonna lie. I've been like wondering, like, how many people is she gonna get through when she's gonna be like, hey, maybe Justin should come on too.
My DMs are open. We have gone through this. You can message me if you want on. I am literally the people who get the guests right here. Hi. Good work, dude. Hi, how you doing? I'm Fat Steven.
He's the guy. How you doing? Through him. But no, Brendan, we haven't forgotten about you, and YetiCast is coming up soon. We got to bring Tom back, and yes, we.
Yeah, I can wait.
Say that.
We're going to wait.
Before we lose this thought, though, I want to say one thing about Kreese. You guys are bringing up interesting points. We've seen him go to the point where he was about to chop some guy's finger off, and we've also seen now that he is more than willing to kill.
Yeah.
So that's where I feel like we're kind of set up to this point where they've taken Kreese to the maximum. I think that's where Lorena was getting. Like, they've kind of taken him to the point where you can't really go any farther unless they take the man out.
I can't forget this thought, though, quickly. Okay, what I'm trying to say is we haven't seen Miguel's dad. He's been told to be a mean person, right? Think about it this way. Kreese is the one who trained Robbie. Robbie's the one who roundhouse kicked Miguel, and that ended up with that injury, correct?
Okay.
So let's say
guys,
Miguel's...
I'm gonna go.
Okay.
You guys complete that thought. It's been awesome.
Okay.
Thanks so much for letting me join this panel. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. And I look forward to next week for This Week in Bullshit when we finally return.
Absolutely. Good night, everyone.
We'll have a lot to talk about.
Take care.
Bye.
What I'm about to say is
Thank you so much, Lorena.
Robbie's the one who was trained by Kreese, right, first? And he... Am I correct? I'm trying to get this right because he's done so many.
What was that?
Kreese trained Robbie first, right? Or was it Daniel?
No.
Daniel did.
All right. So if Miguel's father comes back, let's say he's the villain, and he's going through all the people who actually injured Miguel, he hears through the grapevine, and let's say he goes after Kreese and kills Kreese by accident, thinking he's Daniel because he got the wrong dojo.
Or Johnny, maybe. That's a possibility. I mean, that seems a little out there. That could happen. I don't see where they'd be against that, but you'd really have to set that character up in a good way.
Well, here's a question: did they announce 2 more season, or was that season?
Only one more
season
season
4?
is for sure. Only one more season is for sure. They said, because I just read this yesterday. They said if season 4 is it, they have a logical closing point.
Yeah.
But if they have to, or if Netflix decides to continue, they have more than enough storylines to continue. They said so.
Okay, yeah, because that will determine a lot whether or not it goes on longer. Because otherwise, they're really going to nail it at the end, and
I really
Chris
want
is
it to
probably
go
going to die.
longer.
As much as I would like to have, a season 5 and 6, if they really want to do that, my thing is, at some point, like season 5 would be like kind of stale in a way, like, or maybe like season 6. Like, how much are they, really going to do?
They would have to humanize the new Cobra Kai, because those people are kind of over the top.
Kyler is not, no, there's no way. I don't see it happening. There is nothing redeemable about Kyler. With his name alone, is Kyler. It's as George Carlin said, where did all these made up fucking boys' names come from?
Yeah, like Justin.
What happened?
Like that's what the biggest flaw.
The name alone, just looking at his face, you just want to punch it. There's nothing. Everything that he says, he disrespects Daniel while he's on a date with his daughter. And he's like, "Oh, I don't like sushi. Fish grosses me out. Oh, do you have fish sticks? Those are dope." No, nothing redeemable. No, I don't want to see it.
If you don't humanize him, then it's going to get stale. Like, it's the only way to keep it going.
No, that's not true at all. But sorry, what were you saying?
I was just saying it's the only way to keep it going, because he's too one note in order to last. So if they can bring him back, humanize him a little bit, then there might be a bit more life there.
What do you think they could do?
I don't. He's so unlikable. Like you said, he is so unlikable. But there would have to be a real moment where he goes too far and like sees, gets a massive repercussion or sees the way. But they did that with Hawk. I have to think about that, because I'm not sure.
But Hawk was redeemable.
Yeah, he was, but you can't redeem him.
So
the same way Hawk
so was Miguel. We thought Miguel was gonna, really be an asshole at the end of season 1.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. You can't redeem him the same way as those characters. It's got to be a different way.
Right.
Which one can pilot the spore drive again?
The what? What did you just say?
Said which one can pilot the spore drive again?
I don't know. I don't
Baby
understand. I do not understand.
Baby Yoda. That's the answer.
I'm not a
Baby
Shrek.
Yoda.
Yeah, I did not understand the reference at all. So I'd like to, honestly though,
That brain fart's great.
the last couple of things I was, really, really thinking about, I know we touched on it a little bit. But as much as I liked everyone's arcs. I liked everything that was going on with even Kreese, which I know Mary had said that it was her least favorite part. That's fine. I disagree. I thought it was. It reminded me of Rambo a little bit. Some of the does it
a little bit.
Like Tom? What do you maybe? No.
I mean,
maybe I'm crazy on that one.
No. Like honestly, the flashback stuff was serviceable enough. Like if I went to compare it to something, it was probably like really run of the mill Smallville ish, like when they would do flashbacks of stuff. But the story in the flashbacks was brilliant. Like it was great. But the flashback itself, as far as like, yeah, it was obviously probably filmed in somebody's backyard in California. I get it. But no, and there's some people who have said that, that was like their least favorite part of it. I understand that. And that's one of the scenes though that a lot of the critics that didn't like this season were jumping on, saying that, oh, they were trying to make Kreese a sympathetic character. It's like, I don't really see that.
It was probably the sergeant that made those scenes the toughest, because he was very one note. Like Kreese was more well balanced, and it led to that moment. But that sergeant, that's where I would have saw that fall apart a little bit. Like he was too over the top.
That's funny is that the person that Kreese is actually based on, from what I've heard, is in real life was more like that other sergeant.
Oh, okay.
Like he would literally put guys up against each other, like 5 or 6 guys, and it would not be over until there was only one man left standing. And he was the finish him type.
Yeah.
Like I guess he was more of a terrorist. Like he was more of a terrorist than even Kreese was, I guess, in real life. The guy that it was one of his military karate teachers that Mark came and based him on.
You're gonna have to definitely tell me more about that.
I'm working on a documentary right now. It's where I'm digging up a lot of this stuff. And
you're watching a documentary. Where can I watch this?
I'm going to be making it for Midnight's Edge.
Okay. I'm glad. Make sure you try to get in touch.
I guess there was a real life Miyagi too. So yeah.
that is so interesting.
Yeah, no kidding. This is. I want to hear more.
I definitely want to hear a lot more. Wow. There are a couple of things that I did want to touch on. Like there was a moment. I know we're kind of switching a little bit. Do you guys remember, like, when we're going back to Miguel for a second, when he basically flipped the script on him and said and said to Johnny, "Quiet!" When he stood up for the first time, and he literally called him a pussy. Like, wow, that was a good moment.
Yeah.
God, wow. Moments like that, moments like when he's tapping his dance. God damn. Oh my God. It never ends, does it? The improper memes. I'm not going to do it this time though. But man, things like that, just reminds me of how much I love this show. I hate you, Fat Steven Seagal. Get out of here. Get that out of here. Get that out of here. It actually works.
Talk?
It actually works with
Nothing really.
It's ridiculous. All right, get rid of it now.
Do you guys like Twizzlers?
Just a Nick proper.
Okay. I think the only things that I think we haven't really mentioned were Amanda slapping Kreese in the face was amazing. I liked it.
Amanda had a lot to do this season, yeah.
Yeah, but I liked it even more because Amanda wasn't that great. But in the other 2 seasons, basically she's like,
no, she wasn't.
Daniel, you were wrong about everything and blah blah blah. Sometimes unreasonably.
She's had some pretty good scenes.
I always found her.
But when they what
the hell happened there?
I don't know.
Runner yeeted himself, I guess.
I guess
Well, I
so.
love that one scene. I think it was in the first season, yeah, where or was it in the second one? Maybe it was the second one where they're all going to dinner. It's Daniel, his wife, and Johnny and Miguel's mom.
Carmen, yeah.
Yeah, and they're sitting there and they're like, he's like, oh, I had to open new dojo, or I had to double my hours in classes because so many people want to join my dojo. And she's like, oh, that's great. And then Daniel's like,
Oh, we're doing this.
yeah. And then Daniel's like, yeah, well, I've heard it's not the quantity, but the quality. And she's like, huh? Oh, we're doing this.
I think that was
And then
smart,
it's even better when she and Allie do it. And it's
I know. Like, Amanda has not gotten enough like to do until
Credit.
this season, and she
yeah,
really
but in this
did
one,
get to do a lot
this made
more.
me like Kreese more when Amanda tries to file a restraining order.
Yes.
He already did
I
it.
love that.
He already did
that
it.
was great.
Yeah, she's all like, if nobody's gonna act like an adult than I am, and then she turns out acting crazier than everybody else.
And then it gets brought up at the town hall. Like, oh yeah, I've got a restraining
That guy's
order.
a piece
You
of
can't be
shit.
here.
then Johnny's just like, yeah.
It's so great to have her finally come around and just be like, yes,
Yeah.
he is crazy. Like, everything that's been going, like, oh, she's like, oh, silly karate shit. Like, no, this is serious.
Well, you can only drag it out for so long, right, Justin? Like, you can't have her be that person for 5-6 seasons and just be completely oblivious.
Oh,
and,
I know.
Like, yeah, they had to at some point bring her in. I was like, you had to.
And I thought that was so well done. I liked it when Robbie and Tori finally met. I think that there's something that's going to happen between the two of them, possibly. And I don't know, man. There's a couple of other things. Like, I liked one thing that made me feel good is that and shows that the writers, if they had Pat Morita, if Pat Morita was still alive, I think they would have included him for sure.
I did.
I don't know how.
I think so too.
But they wrote a nice. They had a letter, if you guys remember, that Kumiko read to Daniel.
That was a
Like,
great
yeah.
scene.
Yeah.
A week before they died.
That was
Before he died, I wrote down some of what he said. Like, sorry, it's been a long time since my last letter. Sorry, I'm back in the hospital. Do not worry. There's nothing to do but watch TV and think. Family, us, where I've been, where I'm going in life. I've always looked for signs to show me the right way, but I got lost until I met Daniel. Loyalty to those around him was a guiding light. Even though he still has a hot head, Daniel has passed on what I taught him. Samantha makes me feel like I'm her grandfather. That was nice. That was really nice. It's people, not the signs, that guide us back to the right path. I heard that in a car commercial. I don't remember what car commercial that was, but that must have been a really damn good one. Yeah, I agree, Celebrity Jeremy. The letter reading almost made me cry. Yeah,
My eyes were sweating. But to answer, I think your initial question was what role would he play in the show if he was still alive? I think Pat Morita would be more of a Yoda-ish figure, even more so.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he would just be more in the background, kind of the funny grandpa. And it would be like, you'd have Sam come up and she'd be like, Papa Miyagi, you never are serious. And whatever it was that he told her would be some funny little anecdote or joke. But within that funny little anecdote or joke would be, a little piece of knowledge that she would carry on. And same thing when Daniel would come to him with his problems. It'd be like, what do I do? You had all the answers when I came to you. And then we'd get the thing here. Like, Daniel-san, I had all the answers. You gave me all the answers. That kind of a thing. Like, we'd actually have that scene play out. And I think he would be a very I don't think he'd be so proactive in the karate aspects of the show, but I think he would be a very
he would be in a retirement home. And,
I don't know if he'd be in a home. They would probably keep him
maybe
at
He
the
would still
original-
be at the old house with the rock
Yeah.
garden in the backyard and all the classic cars. And I think he would be more of the narrator, or he would have a quote at the beginning of each episode or something.
I just
He would-
think he would be once an episode maybe kind of thing.
Yeah.
Just whenever
Like
one character would come talk to him, and like I said, it seemed like he's
Yeah.
pulling them off, but he's
I
really
don't-
giving them some kind of knowledge. Yeah.
He
I
was
don't know if I would like it as much, honestly. With
Yeah.
no disrespect to Pat Morita whatsoever, it would be too easy and too convenient.
He was great as that X-Men fighter, though. In Mandalorian.
What?
Well, you just also got to remember, Justin, if he was still alive, he'd be like what, his 90s. So like he'd be very old and
Rain kicking with an iron.
Wait,
lung.
when was he born? In the third? For some reason, they changed the dates of when he was born and when he died. Like they extended 1925 to 2011, which is not correct at all. But I'm not.
yeah, because I don't see Miyagi getting involved too much. But if he did, like Celebrity Jeremy just said in the chat, it would be a more of a mind.
That's
like
what I was thinking too.
He would have a bonsai
logical
shop
thing
facing
between
down.
the two. Yeah.
He would have a little
he
bonsai
definitely would
shop.
not have been able to fight John Kreese at all. He was 73 when he passed away in 2005. So he'd be, obviously 15 years older. So he'd be 88 years old.
Almost 90 years old, yeah.
See,
Yeah,
it might not be a fight, but
pretty
it could have
close.
been like a sacrifice, to stop Kreese. So, running off the edge with them or something just to take it out.
Oh, you mean if Miyagi was the one to do it?
Yeah, because he can't straight up fight.
Yeah,
he can-
I just think he would be too old to get involved in the fight, and he would just kind of play with the whole "I'm nothing but a senile old man who's just goofy." But like I said, in his words would always be some wisdom. Yeah,
I think he would be directing everyone else, but at the same time, I think he'd be cutting his bonsai trees in a little shop, enjoying retirement in his rock garden. I think that's all he would be doing. He would give advice, but he would not be physical.
Yeah, he'd be like, young folks' troubles. Quit bringing them
here. You come here, you start yelling and screaming. Why don't you go wax on, wax off for an hour and chill the fuck out?
See, but I don't know if he could stand by like that because he always jumped in when things got too intense and when people are in too much trouble.
He would, but I think
the most that I think he could probably do energetically was if he was still with us, he would probably be able to if the moment required him to be shouting out Danielson. Like if he was getting out of hand. That's about all I can really see in terms of energy. He can be sitting down most of the time, and then maybe walk with a cane, perhaps.
Probably a wheelchair, but yeah.
No matter what.
But then he it'd be kind of cool if he tossed the cane aside and then just walked up to him, and just absolutely destroyed him. Just saying what are you doing? You are being ridiculous. You are acting like.
Here's the thing with Miyagi, how he would do that is if he didn't really have to walk with the cane, you'd have him walking with Daniel or whatever, and Daniel would be like, you don't really need that cane. Why are you walking with it? Because it looks stylish. Or something like that.
Or he could say. Or he could just just tap him on the head or something, just like
or sweep him with it, and be like
But then that would change Daniel's character.
Kick with stick.
Because in season 1 he almost lost his way because he lost Mr. Miyagi. Like he was becoming the bully. He was becoming successful and taking on the old role that he fought against when he was younger.
And let's just make something very clear. This was I don't know if this is all supposed to be taking place in 2018. Probably, I'm guessing.
I've questioned that because he said 35 years since he's seen Kumiko, and that was supposed to be 1984.
They're not okay. Maybe it all takes place in 2019. I don't know.
Yeah, but
I don't know anymore.
If Mr. Miyagi was alive, he would be calling Daniel out for the way he would start to stray from his path.
I think a lot of the things that Amanda had been saying would have come from maybe Miyagi, but except from in a way that he would say it.
He would just intervene earlier.
No, I don't think he'd intervene. He was never one for conflict. He would go out of his way to make a neutral, fair way to solve differences. Whether
but
it be
by intervene, I mean
talking.
talking to Daniel.
Yeah, but I don't think. But he never got involved unless he thought too serious. I don't think Miyagi would go out of his way to get involved. He would try to teach Daniel or tell Daniel in his own way how he is not learning from the lessons he taught them as he was younger. That's all he would do. He would be the guide. He would be the Sherpa. I'm using that word. I don't care what that list said last year, Justin. Sherpa. And he would try to balance, let's say,
was ridiculous.
Well, it's funny you bring up the balance. That's a great example. I think you're right, Steven. I think what he would do is let's say Daniel would come over and say, like, I can't figure out how to, do this and that and the other with the kids, and I'm having issues with these other kids and blah, blah, blah. He'd be like, you'll notice focus on Daniel's son. Here, have something for you to do. And he'd be like, why is it you always have shit for me to do? He's like, I don't know, cosmic coincidence, like he always says. And then he'd come over and he'd show him how to build that balance thing in the water instead of it just being there. Like, that's what we would get. And throughout that lesson is him learning the whole balance thing, right? Like, and then he would teach it to the kid, so on. Yeah, like that. I think you're right. I think that's how it would work.
Or Tom, it'd be more like this, because it would be like, Daniel, you keep teaching your student from here. You should be teaching them from here while listening from here. And that's how it would go. That's how he taught. He would show that there's more than the fist. Sometimes you use the mind. If the mind doesn't work, you use the heart. Use the eyes. See it, not throw.
And it wouldn't just be Daniel either. Like, another great example would be like this last season here, where like Sam, like her mom wasn't listening to her. Like Daniel would be like, Miyagi would be like, Amanda, you talk too much. Maybe you need to learn to listen a little bit more, in his own way. And then she would learn that, oh shit, I'm not listening to my own fucking daughter. I'm the one doing all the talking, kind of thing. And I know simplified, but that's what. I totally get where you're. And that's what I think he would do.
Miyagi would be like this: stop be more Daniel's son, not more Twitch thought.
Yeah, but those lessons would still end up coming before Daniel strayed too far the way he did.
No, that's it. Daniel doesn't realize he's straying because he's still remembering the past and living in the past. If you're constantly living in the past, you're seeing every day as how you used to be in the past. You're not seeing how you're changed now.
But
you can even do the first season with him there. Well, he would eventually, but he would do it in his own way. And I think you could even still do the first season. It's just have it be like, Daniel's so wrapped up in all this shit that he's ignoring Miyagi and the teachings that he taught him. And then just instead of him going to the grave, it would be him going to visit Miyagi. And then that could have even been a hell of a reveal for us. I mean, especially if he's still alive, because, but at that point, that's where you brought him in. But
yeah, I could see it working without, if he was ignoring, like he got way too caught up in his own business and success. He kind of just forgets that he's there.
But he already is way too caught up because he's constantly rivaling that dealership down the street. So he's already kind of lost his way. Miyagi was, everyone was saying in the chat here, like, I think we're all agreeing here, he would be the Yoda, but without intervening. Mm-hmm. And that's the best thing Miyagi ever did. He taught lessons without teaching lessons.
Yes. Yeah, I agree with that.
And I think it kind of shows in the writing already, because he is there. Like, that's the best part, is he's still present, and the ways that we're putting him in the story now.
When they smashed his picture, I thought Daniel's going to do it. I literally thought, oh crap, Daniel's toupee's coming off. How comes the shirt? Here comes my dad bod karate.
Well, we've seen him come unglued.
Not just smashing the picture in the last season. I think you're referring to that. Stealing his Medal of Honor. I was pissed off.
That was too far.
You have to also remember, Justin, that Miyagi also said to Daniel, I'm not going to paraphrase it correctly, medals don't make the warrior. War make the warrior. He didn't give a shit about the medal. He cared about what Daniel did to put the medal on.
War not make one great.
Not to Jedi, I will not.
We're getting ridiculous.
Yeah.
No, I mean, but
you're short.
You know what? I do think that, though, part of the fun of Cobra Kai is how ridiculous it does get.
Oh, it's a cartoon, it's a soap opera, but it's also grounded.
It's also. You mean you can
there are parts where it doesn't take itself seriously and it works.
Well, it's an 80s.
I mean, at the same time,
it's an 80s trope and a 2020 world.
You're totally right, Stephen, that it is an 80s trope that it's taking place today. That's why, for some reason, look,
It's a big member bearer.
For some reason, I do like poking fun at it now, and I think season 3 was the time where I was like poking fun at a lot of things that happened. One thing that was, I think I discussed this on your stream, Tom.
I like your nipples, boy.
I wasn't
William
joking.
Zabka
It
thing,
says Billy
I saw
Zabka.
that. Yeah, you showed me that. That's awesome.
Billy fucking Zabka. And the
They
old
just thought we'd
show.
never see it. They thought we'd never see it.
Like, why couldn't you just put your...
We could
Fucking
fix that right
figure.
now with Paint Shop or whatever.
Yeah, who
You
cares, though?
could.
It doesn't
You
ruin anything.
could. I'm just like, really?
At the same time, they could have kept that in as an Easter egg, but it's also could just be the artist who took the picture's name. That's all that could be done. You know what I mean? It could have been left in there.
No,
Also
you don't
on
always get
purpose.
to easily
I don't
write
think anybody
yourself out of
really
a corner
thought
here.
they would
Yeah,
notice
but
it.
like, look how. But at the same time, if it was found, it could be just a silly little Easter egg. You don't know.
I
that
know
they
these
forgot
things
about it.
happen, and it's
And you weren't staring at that. You were staring at other things. So let's get this subject back.
You were
Right.
staring
Yeah,
at
they
Zappa's
underestimate
nipple.
how much time
that
you would
crevice.
look at that picture.
you don't know how big my you have no idea how
That
big my
picture makes a lot of
screen
people
actually
rock
is.
hard. And it's not
You
because
know,
of the
I'm-
mouth.
no joke.
I'm hard right
my
now.
monitor right now is a TV,
It is Billy
and I'm.
Zappa.
I
It
am so
depends how
proper
big
right
your
now.
screen is. If you watched it, with on your
Right,
laptop,
right.
you're not going to see it. I'm watching it on a bigger TV right now.
No, I think
Um,
it's just. I think you're right to a point. It's just a matter of they
It's
didn't
one
think
of those
anybody was
silly
going to
things.
notice it. They either didn't notice it or they didn't think anybody was going to notice it, and clearly Justin did. So, props to him, man.
That thing,
I mean,
that one name is just throwing off the whole enjoyment of the nipple.
I'm just really well. Yeah, the nipple was great,
It's
but
great.
I was very upset. Like I'm like,
Wait,
none of the creators are going to acknowledge this. I'm like, guys, come
Wait,
on.
there's a mission now. If there's any close-ups of other pictures in any of the other episodes, go through them all and see if they're actually
You
happening.
did tag them all, and they haven't said nothing yet.
No,
That's a
but
bummer.
that's okay. It's
You
all
almost
right.
become like this guy who finds these things, like between the Back to the Future thing and now this.
Oh no, that was not me. That was
Oh, that
also
wasn't you?
nerd. That's the. But yeah, it was.
You brought it to
that
my
was-
attention anyway.
Oh, well, I'm glad. It was all and Yellow Flash even got hold of that. That was very bad. This one is just like, okay, I gave you a pass for the whole thing with the car dealership with Daniel and the young girl that he saved. Okay, this is.
This is
Like-
where Justin draws the line.
But you have to think that that
You-
young girl was
no,
also
no,
one of
no,
the
no.
ones
Hear me out.
Kimiko
Hear me
trained in
out.
dancing. You don't know the connection that was built afterwards and how close they were. If
They
he was literally-
took an extra
Nipple.
7 months, 7 extra months that they had to do whatever they needed to do. Otherwise, we would be looking at season 4 in 4 months. That's the timeline. Like that's how we should.
Wait,
Like,
are you
at
upset
this
that we're
point.
not getting a season 4 right away, or are you upset the fact that the girl?
No. Hold on. You have to remember, season 1 and 2 came out within a year, of each other. They always were going to have one season a year in May. I don't know what happened, but
2020
they were already done with the season. They were done with it. And for some reason, maybe it was a contract thing with Netflix that they couldn't start anything. But
maybe their sites were shut down because.
But look, I mean, when it came to May of last year, everyone's like, "All right, where's Cobra Kai? It's going to save us from 2020. It's going to save us." What happens? Oh, we're gonna the creators say, and this is. Hold on a second. just give me a moment here. The creators had said that they were going to have a big announcement around Memorial Day. And what happens? What's the big announcement? We're moving to Netflix. We're moving to Netflix. I'm like, okay, that's a big, okay.
That's more fun.
What about a trailer? What about footage?
No.
And then we had a cruel summer in 2020 where we got nothing more than that. And then what do we get at the end of like around August is it's fucking ridiculous.
Fires?
At the end of August, they release a teaser, like a 2-minute teaser, but the majority of it is just a fucking montage of seasons 1 and 2, and then it says, and in 2018 we had season 1, 2019 season 2, and in 2021, and I'm like, for fuck's sake!
Wait, are you more upset for the fact that they're not doing it year by year, or are you upset at the fact they're not giving you what you want from your expectations of what they should tease you with?
I
I'm trying to see whether or not it's actual disappointment or entitlement
for the tease than I do anything else. If I'm perfectly honest.
Wait, sorry. So are you criticizing their lack of delivering on time, or are you just not criticizing your impatience? And I win. Game over. And I'm going to get kicked to the back.
Thank you for joining us. It was more or less the lack of just transparency of like, okay, there's going to be a big announcement, but what is that big announcement? We're changing networks.
Yeah.
Fuck it. Cool. And then we get they say in the first teaser trailer in 2021, we're gonna have season 3, and they give us 3 seconds of footage with shows, and I'm like, oh fuck. That's it.
What a trailer is.
No, not even 3 seconds. Less than 3 seconds. But like it was a long trailer, and most of it was a montage of the first 2 seasons. I'm like, no.
Okay. Just you understand. Sometimes these trailers are meant for one thing, not just for the people that have already been watching, for people who don't know but have just heard about it. If you're going to see a montage, you've been accepted as promotional bullcrap and move on that you didn't get what you want. It's never going to change.
It's okay. We got season 3, but that's fine.
Yeah, but it's not hurting you. Would you rather have?
It very much hurt me. It very.
You look so hurt right now. Yeah.
I you know what? I almost wish that I had made a video back then and had.
Really?
I would have, but it would have aged terribly.
It would have, because
it really would have.
It probably would have been funny to watch.
It would have been funny to watch.
But Justin,
I remember, wasn't I saying something on like a stream that you were on, Runner, about me being frustrated about that?
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, it's like the whole summer was a big blue balls.
But they did something good.
No, I remember you being pissed off that Cobra Kai released something, and you were very like it was the teaser thing you were talking about, and you were very disappointed. And I'm like, oh, that's
because we didn't know that it was going to be like the beginning of 2021. So
yeah,
like I was like, oh great, we have to wait until fucking May. God, like
hype works better than leaks. So you got 3 seconds and a whole bunch of hype of something coming. They did their job.
But if they wanted to talk about hype and they wanted to have
they didn't
more people talking about it, more of a conversation, then I think that there's only one thing that you could do. And I watched this, I watched a review. I think it was Jeremy Johns who had said maybe if you wanted to have more hype about this, you would release 1 episode weekly like The Mandalorian does.
Yeah, we've all been saying that. The binge model.
Yeah.
It would be great because it's something I like. I want to talk about it. But
and the problem
we only get one brief little period of time. Within the first week, you have to talk about it. Otherwise, you're not going to get the views. You're not going to get blah, blah, blah.
Are you doing this from a channel? Wait, are you doing this because you love the show, or are you complaining the fact that you're not getting the views per episode per week?
No, because I love the show and I want other people to talk about it more.
Well, we are talking about. We've been talking about for almost 3 hours. You're doing it.
Oh,
we are. But I get where he's coming from. But there's also the other side of it. Is it's going to go out of the public consciousness over the next year, because you had a situation where there was a lot of people who had discovered it on YouTube, but then there was a whole new batch of people that like that 3 times that discovered it when they moved it over to Netflix. So you had people that got to see season 1, 2, and 3 in a matter of a few months, right?
Yeah.
Now all those people have got to wait a year to the next episode. Now, if they would have actually released these episodes per week, it would have only been a few less months because they're supposed to start production soon. So hopefully,
I believe it's January 20th.
Yeah. So like, I mean, if they would have been able to, like, we would only be 2 weeks into the show now, pretty much.
Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Then we would be on the second episode.
It would depend if how many episodes they actually gave us at the beginning, like the way Amazon
They've
did
always
expand.
they've always done the same amount of episodes. So like, let's just say for the sake of argument, they're still giving us the same amount of episodes.
Yeah.
I mean, like, we'd have 8 weeks of this stuff, or 10, was it 8 or 10 episodes? I can't remember. 10 episodes.
There are 10 episodes. And
we'd have 10 weeks to talk about this. That's over 2 months. And then that brings us that much closer to the next season. You know, and again, I get, there's the side of it as a YouTuber. Sure, it's great to have it to talk about. But at the other side of it, I'm more worried about another season or more after this next one, because how popular is this next one going to be, since they've already done, the hype on it, and it'll just prove Netflix right if the 4th season doesn't do nearly as well because they took a year to get to it.
But all we can do is speculate, but we can always still rewatch.
Netflix likes to be like, people only watch 3 seasons, see?
Yeah,
Really?
and I know that Matt Wolf said people today have the collective memory of Goldfish. Yeah, I know.
Unfortunately, Steven, the
because
numbers
they're
prove
releasing
that.
it.
What was that, Yeti? Sorry.
Oh, it seems like people have that memory because they're releasing it all at once. Like, I know I remember shows way better when it was released week to week, because you spend that week analyzing and thinking about it. But when it's all at once, like, they blend.
Well, most shows, the thing is before this new model of the cable/Netflix model, most shows you only had 3 or 4 months where you didn't have the show on.
You mean like when Star Trek would have like their half of their season, like the mid-season finale, then you get the other half like 4 months later when it got
that thing kind of started too, like after a while. But like no, like you'd have 20 episodes or 24 episodes a season, and you'd only have about a 4-month patch in the summertime where you didn't have any new episodes, and then the new fall season would start, and boom, you got a whole almost a year of fucking new episodes. So I miss that. I do. I miss it a lot, but I also don't, because we don't have shit for decent shows, and a lot of these shows that are doing that still are dragging out the inevitable, like Star Trek Discovery.
We have to look at it this way, though. It could be a lot worse. We could all be sitting on a planet full of dilithium waiting for that baby to freak out.
They want Baby Yoda. That's what they need.
Yeah, Baby Burnham saves the universe.
Baby Yoda.
Justin's like, I don't know what Star Trek.
Yeah, he's lost.
No,
Star Trek.
No, I had to go to the bathroom real quick.
I can say the show was great. It has its flaws, but it more does not, and I can always rewatch it again. The show has the same feeling like a DS9. Yeah, sure. Like Tom, what you were explaining earlier, how they have like you have to split up
Are we
for a
talking
year.
about Cobra Kai? Or
Cobra Kai.
Cobra Kai.
Oh, okay.
Cobra Kai falls in the same thing for rewatchability for me like DS9. I've watched DS9, the full series, 8 to 10, 20 times, and I never get bored with it. You can have Cobra Kai on in the background, you can still enjoy it and do your work. It has that pretense.
I have watched that fucking pilot episode of Cobra Kai by showing it to so many people and introducing them to the show. Like I've probably had to watch it like 25 times, just that episode. And most people,
I'd say the
what were you gonna say?
I think it's
okay.
I would say the first season as a whole. No, the first season as a whole is rewatchable. I think the most. Like I'd say the whole show so far is rewatchable, but I would rewatch the first season more, in my opinion.
I like it so much too. I love that first season.
It was tight. There was very little fat.
There was, and it was so funny. And I think the humor that came from Hot Tub Time Machine and Harold and Kumar really came out here. The situational humor, because I love the show and they know what jokes were going to work. That like something like there's a lot of good one-liners from Johnny alone. When he says to Miguel, "Drowning is for pussies." That's great. I love hearing that. And the other line that he says, "Why can't when Aisha's trying to join, like, why can't I join?" It's like, same reason why there's no women in the army. It doesn't make sense. What the fuck?
I just like to say, I hope Eagle Fang
hey,
wins.
When he throws his inhaler, which is never brought up ever again. He just throws it. It's like, "I have asthma." It's like, "Not anymore." It's great. Yeah. Like things like that are just so this is why I love the show. I come back because of the story, but the humor, really keeps me going. Like they have so much talent in their comedic timing. I just absolutely love it. So I think we're going to wrap it out here. We're going on 3 hours now, longer than I expected. But I have two things that I would like to ask the panel. One, like how I was, asking, Lorena and Mary, like, how do you think season 4 is going to up the ante, if you will, and what kind of conflicts can we expect? And I think I'm going to start out with, how about you, Runner?
Oh God, it's horrible looking.
What?
Someone get a shovel.
By the way, Robbie has joined the stream.
You think I'm a duplicate of Robbie? I don't know.
Not necessarily.
Okay. That's what Jane Theory said yesterday. I don't know. But I don't know what to expect really too much. I mean, I think we're gonna see Terry Silver at some point. I think I'm interested to see how Eagle Fang Karate teams up with Miyagi-Do. I think that'll be really interesting. And
what are they gonna call it?
I have no clue. I think it will end up being a mess at first, but they'll find a way to work together. I don't know. But
Miyagi Fang.
Miyagi Fang Karate.
Or Eagle Dough.
No, I like that more. Eagle Dough. Eagle Dough's great.
Eagle Dough.
No, but like their teaching is different, so I'm like, okay, how the hell is this gonna work? So I don't know, but and one thing I think you'll get more in this next season is maybe more fights. I think you're gonna get more of that. I think.
Are we
In
gonna
a
get
karate show, we're gonna get fights? You're kidding me.
Okay, but no, okay. You're gonna get fights, but I mean like more than you have these last 3 seasons.
Degrassi, the Cobra Kai generation.
Degrassi karate.
if you pay attention to what I said more.
More.
Not fights, just more fights. Difference.
More.
Okay, cool. Yeti.
Well, I'm still thinking that's going to end up with Daniel and Johnny fighting Kreese and the guy that joins him in the end at the tournament. Something goes way too far, and then they jump in at the end to make sure that one of their students doesn't get severely hurt or killed. And I think that's where that's going to end up. We're going to see them, like Brennan was saying, having issues about how they're supposed to teach their students, but in the end, they have their final moment where they come together and they fight with each other to take down Kreese.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Like
I'm sorry. Did you hit it?
Motherfucker.
No. I'm good. Unless I want to go into more, but that's basically where I think it's going to end up.
Okay. Fat Steve. What did
My
you do?
opinion
What did
is
you do
brought
to
to you
Robbie?
by
This
What
is
did you do to Robbie?
This is so retarded.
This is ridiculous. All right, moving on. Tom.
Thank God.
I don't know how I follow that. I
I
pretty
don't
much
think
had most of my feelings on what's probably going to happen anyway. So I'm just glad to be here talking about something I love.
Oh yeah, as opposed to everything that we hate, like Star Wars,
Exactly.
Star Trek.
So
You know.
contrary to popular belief, I would rather spend hours upon hours talking about something I love than sitting here ranting about something I dislike. So there you go.
100%, 100%. And my personal belief, I do believe that Johnny and Daniel are definitely going to be fighting a lot. I think Tori and Robbie are going to hook up at some point. I think maybe we will have a ridiculous Avengers type story that happens. With all of the characters are now here at once, and it's going to be hokey and ridiculous. Hopefully, it doesn't happen, but if it does, I wouldn't necessarily complain as long as it's earned. I love all the new characters. I don't mind the Degrassi style. I'm just calling it because high school drama and shit. Degrassi is just a fucking joke.
No, but it is. This show is basically that with karate. Don't get me wrong, but I love it.
Oh yeah, I completely agree. But it's the kind of high school drama that we do love, and we care about the characters, which is the difference. I could give two shits about anybody in Degrassi, whereas in this show, I actually cared about the new characters, which is something that never really happens as often as one would like. Even like I'm not a big Doctor Who person. I don't care about Doctor Who. I will never watch it. Just putting it out there. But hearing what people say about it, yeah, that's a big joke. And people not respecting a franchise and the fans who are affected by it. Yeah, I'd sympathize. I sympathize. No, I sympathize with everyone in that and the Trekkies as well. I know you guys have, gotten a lot of, big slaps in the face there, and especially Star Wars. But here's a series. Here's a series that you can enjoy, you can love, and it doesn't disrespect anything that came before. It doesn't disrespect any of the characters. It doesn't do anything that's out of character. It's so well written and well done. And I would say that in a way, I think, what's so fucking funny? What is it? What did I miss?
Nothing.
What did I miss, Fat Steven?
No, I'm just laughing in general. I'm sorry.
What did I do?
You didn't do anything.
You ruined the fucking flow. So
you didn't ruin anything.
Now you know how I feel.
Shut up.
At any rate, you know what? It's Cobra Kai season 3. Great show. Go watch it and go subscribe to everybody on this panel. Fat Steven Seagal, Tom Connors, Midnight After Dark, and Yeti Cast, Runner, Mary Mayhem, Lorena Creole. Thank you all so much for joining me. I know it's been a really long time. We were past the 3-hour mark. So yeah, this was a lot of fun, and I really needed this. And I probably should have done it, several days ago. But hey, you know what? Better late than never. And I guess I could say the same things about Cobra Kai season 3. Jesus, I'm getting into tongue twisters like it's nobody's business. It's ridiculous. I got to get out before I completely make an ass out of myself.
Seashell.
Oh my goodness. I've had one too many Coors banquets, clearly. So I love you all. I love everyone on the panel. Have a great day. This was a lot of fun, and I want to thank everyone who joined in. It was so much fun.
Well, thanks to the lame ass security, I'm going home.